Chapter 290. For Mo Shu. Even when she was just born, she was already comparable to an ordinary 10,000-year-soul beast because she was a descendant of Wang Kai and had the noble and powerful bloodline of the Emperor Shura. She was also comparable to a high-tier soul emperor. After receiving the nourishment from Wang Kai's Shura's blood energy, the source of life, and a large amount of 10,000-year-soul beast flesh, Mo Shu's strength had also increased by leaps and bounds over the past year. Right now, Mo Shu's actual fighting strength was comparable to an ordinary 20,000-year-soul beast. In other words, she was comparable to a weaker soul sage. "Daddy, where are we?" Mo Shu did not show any discomfort as she looked at the blood-red forest and sensed the dense blood chi in the surroundings. However, she still looked around curiously as she asked Wang Kai, "What are you doing here?" "This is the blood-weeping forest." "Mo Shu, haven't you always said that you want to fight with your enemies? There are many blood beasts here that can satisfy your request." Wang Kai explained with a smile as he looked at Mo Shu's beautiful face. "Yes, I understand, Daddy." Mo Shu nodded her little head after hearing Wang Kai's reply. After that, she held onto Wang Kai's hand and obediently followed beside Wang Kai. Mo Shu had changed into a sorcerer's robe today, revealing her white neck and cute navel. It made people want to reach out and pinch her. Her delicate and beautiful face, bright and beautiful big eyes, and tender little dimples made people want to kiss her face fiercely. Wang Kai wasn't a pedantic scholar. Since he had such thoughts, Wang Kai naturally followed his heart and made intimate contact with Mo Shu's body. As a descendant of Wang Kai, Mo Shu craved to be close to Wang Kai. Now that Wang Kai took special care of her, Mo Shu revealed a satisfied expression on her face and continuously let out comfortable murmurs. Wang Kai didn't stop as he teased Mo Shu. He led Mo Shu deeper into the blood-weeping forest. Not long after, they were about 10 kilometers away from the massacring city. Wang Kai didn't see any blood beasts in this distance. However, as Wang Kai and Mo Shu continued to go deeper, they finally encountered a group of blood beasts about 20 kilometers away from the massacring city. This was a group of strange creatures that looked somewhat similar to bulls in the outside world. However, their bodies were covered with a layer of very thick blood-colored scales. The horns on their heads were very long and sharp, and there were sharp teeth in their mouths. They looked very ferocious. According to the information, these blood beasts were called desolate-blooded bulls. Stopping in his tracks, Wang Kai used his appraisal eye to look at the herd of barbaric bulls. There were a total of 23 of them, and they were all in the growth stage. In terms of strength in the world of soul masters, they were roughly at the level of a soul king who could use soul skills. Mo Shu, now's your chance to perform. Come, go and kill them. Wang Kai smiled faintly as he looked at this group of blood beasts. Then, he turned to Mo Shu beside him and instructed. "Understand, father." After receiving Wang Kai's order, Mo Shu smiled sweetly. Then, she urged her blood energy to charge forward. Then, her hands flickered with a layer of strange green light as she waved them forward. Corrosive missile. Following Mo Shu's low cry, a ball of dark green light about the size of a tennis ball shot out from her hands. Then, it pierced through the air and shot towards the herd of desolate-blooded bulls. In the path of the corrosive missile, the leaves of the blood trees in the weeping blood forest withered and fell. It was obvious how powerful the corrosive missile was. Bang! Mo Shu's corrosive missile hit the center of the herd of desolate-blooded bulls. Then, it suddenly exploded and turned into a large cloud of dark green poison fog. It spread wildly in all directions and completely enveloped the herd of desolate-blooded bulls. Suddenly, all of the desolate-blooded bulls in the herd became restless, as if they had met their natural enemy. Then they scattered in all directions. However, most of the desolate-blooded bulls had just started running. Before they could escape the range of the poison fog, the surface of their bodies had already begun to melt. Very quickly, they turned into pools of blood. Only a few desolate-blooded bulls on the periphery barely escaped the range of the poison fog. Even so, They couldn't escape the fate of being completely corroded and melted. In less than 5 seconds, Mo Shu had completely wiped out the herd of desolate blooded bulls. At this moment, a system notification sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Assisted in killing 23 desolate blooded bulls. Obtained plus 420 origin points, plus 4 origin experience, plus 2,000 origin points. Only so little experience? Hearing the system notification, Wang Kai frowned slightly and asked in his mind, Master, blood beasts are special life forms formed by the special laws of the City of Massacre. They're different from soul beasts and soul masters. They're completely condensed from blood energy and will turn into blood energy after death. Therefore, after Master kills a blood beast, the system can absorb less energy and the experience gained is also less. In addition, blood beasts won't enjoy the additional rewards of the mission. Hearing Wang Kai's question, Xiao Guang's reply sounded in Wang Kai's ears. So that's how it is. Hearing Xiao Guang's explanation, Wang Kai nodded. However, although the experience gained from killing blood beasts was less, compared to pure cultivation, the benefits were still considerable. While he was waiting for the competition, he could come here to hunt and advance faster. Father, how was my performance just now? At this moment, Mo Shu, who had killed the herd of desolate blooded bulls in one hit, skipped over to Wang Kai's side and raised her head to ask proudly. Yes, Mo Shu did well. Looking at Mo Shu in front of him, Wang Kai revealed a faint smile and gently kissed her forehead. Thank you, father. Blushing slightly, Mo Shu continued to stay behind Wang Kai, while Wang Kai took out the blood crystals dropped by the desolate blooded bulls. There were a total of 23 blood crystals. It was a kind of blood-colored crystal. It looked like a gem and was very beautiful. It also contained rich blood energy. Soul Masters could not use these blood crystals and could only hand them over to the City of Massacre in exchange for a certain amount of time. However, to Wang Kai, he could use these blood crystals to train his Shura's baleful aura and killing intent to increase his strength. At the same time, Mo Shu could also refine the blood crystals to increase her strength. Therefore, Wang Kai naturally would not hand them over. Mo Shu, let's continue hunting. Grabbing Mo Shu's wrist, Wang Kai continued to lead her deeper into the blood-weeping forest. Chapter 291. Even though the blood-sobbing forest was large, there weren't many blood fiends in the outskirts of the forest. After 2 days of hunting, Wang Kai and Mo Shu only managed to kill a few hundred blood fiends. However, many a little makes a mickle. Wang Kai was able to earn around 5,000 experience points from killing the blood fiends. He also managed to obtain quite a few blood crystals from the corpses of the blood fiends. After that, he brought Mo Shu back to the capital of Massacre to participate in the next Hell Slaughtering Tournament. In the following days, Wang Kai continued to participate in the Hell Slaughtering Tournament. In between the 2 Hell Slaughtering Tournaments, Wang Kai would leave the capital of Massacre and bring Mo Shu to the blood-sobbing forest to hunt blood fiends. On one hand, he wanted to train himself and Mo Shu, and on the other hand, he wanted to harvest experience points. As for the blood crystals he obtained from killing the blood fiends, Wang Kai gave them to Mo Shu to refine. The quality of the blood crystals wasn't high, so they weren't very effective for Wang Kai to increase his killing intent. However, for Mo Shu, who was still in her growth stage, the blood crystals could quickly replenish her energy and allow her to grow stronger. Time flew by unknowingly as the endless battles continued. In the blink of an eye, another 3 weeks had gone by. During this time, Wang Kai managed to obtain 6 more victories in the Hell Slaughtering Grounds. Right now, Wang Kai had 16 victories. In other words, as long as he won 1 more Hell Slaughtering Grounds battle, Wang Kai would be able to enter the top 100 of the Hell Slaughtering Grounds. As his victories increased, so did the strength of Wang Kai's opponents. There were even some high-level Soul Emperors. However, even when he was surrounded by 5 high-level Soul Emperors and 4 mid-level Soul Emperors, Wang Kai didn't reveal any openings. Furthermore, He managed to kill all of them within 30 moves without sustaining any injuries. Wang Kai obtained a huge amount of experience points from killing his opponents and blood fiends. In just 3 weeks, Wang Kai broke through another small realm and became a rank 65 Soul Emperor. The next time he wanted to advance, he would need 300,000 experience points. If Wang Kai wanted to obtain 300,000 experience points through cultivation alone, he would need 300 days of hard work. This was also because Wang Kai's cultivation method was a top-tier arcane, star-heavenly suppressing soul, refining divine art. Furthermore, he had reached the 8th level of the Soul de Luo's cultivation method. It wasn't hard to imagine that ordinary soul masters couldn't compare to Wang Kai in terms of cultivation methods, martial souls, or resources. This made it much harder for them to advance. This was also the reason why many talented soul masters couldn't advance any further. However, compared to cultivation, gaining experience through killing was much faster and easier. This was especially true in the slaughtering grounds. Because of the rewards from the missions, Wang Kai's speed of gaining experience was even faster. In the previous slaughtering grounds, Wang Kai successfully obtained 45,000 experience points after killing 5 high-level Soul Emperors and 4 mid-level Soul Emperors. Every time Wang Kai hunted blood fiends, he would earn several thousand experience points per day. If nothing went wrong, Wang Kai could become a rank 66 Soul Emperor within a month. As Wang Kai's rank increased, Wang Kai's fighting strength also increased rapidly. Right now, Wang Kai was confident that he could fight against a high-level Soul Sage, even if he only used his Emperor Shura. If he used all 3 of his god's martial souls, Wang Kai could fight a low-level Soul de Luo to a draw. This was especially true in the slaughtering grounds. Soul masters who were Soul Sages and above couldn't use their martial Soul True Bodies or Tool Soul True Bodies because they couldn't use soul skills in the slaughtering grounds. This was why they were closer to Wang Kai. Apart from that, Wang Kai's martial soul, Emperor Shura, also gave Wang Kai an extremely strong physique. Furthermore, Wang Kai's soul skills weren't restricted. Although he couldn't actively use soul skills, he could use the power of the earth in the slaughtering grounds to quickly recover his stamina, soul power, and injuries. Not only that, but Wang Kai also had the help of the 9 Heavens Soul Vanquishing Sword, which was an extremely sharp and high-tier soul tool. This increased Wang Kai's actual fighting strength in the City of Massacres. It could be said that Wang Kai wasn't afraid of Quan Long, who had won the most battles in the City of Massacres. Finally, Wang Kai welcomed his 17th match in the slaughtering grounds. The referee's voice sounded. Wang Kai and the other 9 competitors entered the slaughtering grounds. This time, Wang Kai met his first Soul Sage opponent in the slaughtering grounds. Following the referee's voice, everyone unleashed their martial souls. Wang Kai also used Emperor Shura's possession. He held the 9 Heavens Soul Vanquishing Sword in his hand and observed his 9 opponents at the same time. First, there was the only Soul Sage opponent. He had 119 matches in the slaughtering grounds and was ranked 88th in the slaughtering grounds. His appearance was that of a very muscular man with exaggerated muscles all over his body. He had red hair and a ferocious look in his eyes. This Soul Sage's martial soul was the 3-eyed sky howling lion. After he unleashed his martial soul true body, a thick mane grew out of his muscles. The mane was the same color as his hair. They were both red, and it was as if flames were burning outside his body. Not only that, but with the possession of his martial soul, the originally exaggerated muscles on the body of this burly man actually swelled up again, looking full of strength. On his palms, extremely sharp claws that were 30 centimeters long grew out, constantly flashing under the bloody light of the Hell Slaughterhouse, appearing incomparably ferocious. But that wasn't the strangest part of the transformation. The biggest change to the 3-eyed howling heaven lion was in his forehead. After being possessed by his martial soul, a blood red eye had appeared on the 3-eyed howling heaven lion's forehead. The eye scanned the surroundings, causing the weaker soul masters to tremble in fear. The 3-eyed howling heaven lion's aura had also increased exponentially with the opening of his 3rd eye. It's the Lion King Gu Lu. I wonder if he can defeat Wang Kai. After all, Wang Kai is a ruthless person who killed Zhang Hui. I think he has a chance. He's not fighting alone. He has 8 high-level Soul Emperors helping him. Wang Kai knew the name of the three-eyed sky howling lion as he listened to the discussions of the spectators. He was Gu Lu. However, Wang Kai scoffed at the opinions of the spectators. Wang Kai could tell that Gu Lu was a rank 72 through his appraisal eye. He was much weaker than Zhang Hui, meaning that Gu Lu wouldn't be able to threaten Wang Kai even if he had 6 Soul Emperors to help him. Chapter 292. Soon after, Wang Kai turned his head slightly, sweeping his gaze towards the second strongest opponent participating in this hell slaughter competition. This was a rank 69 Soul Emperor. He was around 2 meters tall. Although he didn't have the same exaggerated muscles as Gu Lu, he was still very well built. His muscles were well developed, and his eyes were sharp. Wherever he looked, the weak would tremble in fear. As for his martial soul, it was a serrated scythe in his hand. The scythe was 2.5 meters long, and the blade shone brightly. There were many sharp serrations on the blade, and it was extremely sharp. If it hit an enemy, it would definitely cause great damage. Next up was the third strongest opponent in the slaughterhouse. Unlike the previous 2, the third opponent was a female soul master with the strength of a rank 68 Soul Emperor. She was dressed in a blue robe and had a pretty face. Her skin was fair and supple, and her figure was tall and slender. She was quite beautiful. Her martial soul was the Roi Shui Primal Cloud Cat. After using martial soul possession, a pair of cute cat ears grew out from her ears, and a soft cat tail grew out from her back. Her eyes revealed a kind of intelligence and intelligence. As for the remaining 6 Soul Masters, they were all at least rank 67. They were all high-stage Soul Emperors. One of them was a tall man at rank 68. His martial soul was the Blazing Wolf. One of them was a fierce man at rank 67. His martial soul was the Earth-Shattering Whip. One of them was an old woman at rank 67. Her martial soul was the 9-in Poison Needle. One of them was an old man at rank 67. His martial soul was the Earthly King Axe. One of them was a muscular man at rank 67. His martial soul was the Lion Whisker Tiger Hook. One of them was a middle-aged man at rank 67. His martial soul was the Giant Toothed Crocodile. Let the battle begin. After announcing the start of the battle, the black-armored referee immediately left the stage and left the slaughterhouse to the 10 participants. As soon as the battle began, the other 9 participants in the arena all turned their attention to Wang Kai. Everyone, let's kill Sword Demon Wang Kai first. Looking at Wang Kai, the Lion King Gu Li's eyes revealed a trace of fear. He shouted coldly and stomped on the ground. Bang! Accompanied by a muffled sound, the ground trembled slightly, and Gu Li's figure instantly disappeared from the spot, turning into an afterimage as he pounced in front of Wang Kai. Although Gu Li's body looked very bulky, his speed wasn't slow at all. In just a few flashes, Gu Lu had already arrived beside Wang Kai. Then, he raised his muscular right arm and viciously clawed at Wang Kai's face. That's right. Only by killing Wang Kai will we have a chance to live. The other 8 Soul Emperors nodded in agreement at Gu Li's words. Circulating their soul force, they urged their martial souls to attack Wang Kai in a frenzy. On the side, the rank 69 Sawtooth Scythe Soul Emperor raised his Sawtooth Scythe to attack Wang Kai. Then he swung his scythe at Wang Kai's waist. On the other side, the female Roashue Cloud Cat was very beautiful and cute, but her attacks were very swift and fierce. In a flash, she left a trail of blue afterimages behind her as she appeared behind Wang Kai in the blink of an eye. Then, with a swing of her arm, she viciously clawed at Wang Kai's heart with her claws. Clearly, this wasn't her first time attacking someone like this. As for the Inferno Wolf Soul Emperor, after using his martial soul possession, his eyes shone with a greedy green light. His hair quickly grew longer, and the color of his hair changed from light red to dark red. At the same time, dark red fur began to appear on his skin. Not only that, But after using the martial soul possession, the originally tall man's body swelled up a lot. The muscles all over his body bulged, and sharp claws stretched out from his 10 fingers, flickering with a faint, cold light. A layer of faint flames ignited on the surface of his body, causing the temperature around him to rise by a few degrees. At this time, the Inferno Wolf Soul Emperor suddenly used his strength, leaving behind a faint fiery afterimage. His body flashed to Wang Kai's side, and his sharp claws viciously stabbed at Wang Kai's head. As for the old woman with the 90 needles, she didn't approach Wang Kai at this time. Instead, she carefully maintained a distance from Wang Kai. However, her hands didn't stop moving for even a moment. An endless stream of soul force gathered in her hands, forming into poisonous silver needles that attacked Wang Kai's eyes, nose, ears, and other weak points from all directions. As for the male, with the Earth Splitter Whip, he was wielding a 1-2-meter-long Earth Splitter Whip in each of his hands. His footwork was graceful as he moved his left and right hands at the same time. The Earth Splitter Whip lashed out at Wang Kai's lower body in an attempt to disrupt Wang Kai's rhythm and create an opportunity for the other Soul Masters. Back to the last 3 Soul Masters. At this time, the Earthly Emperor's tyrannical axe, Soul Emperor, leapt high into the air. Holding the Earthly Emperor's tyrannical axe, Soul Emperor's tyrannical axe, he slashed at Wang Kai's head. The lion-bearded tiger Hook Soul Emperor waved his tiger hook in an attempt to hook Wang Kai's arm and prevent him from moving. The wilderness megalodon crocodile Soul Emperor also leapt towards Wang Kai, opened his bloody mouth, and bit at Wang Kai's head. At this moment, the 9 Soul Masters attacked Wang Kai from different directions. Furthermore, they used their special skills to put Wang Kai in a situation where he was attacked from both sides. Faced with such a situation, even a Soul Doloa would die if they didn't handle it well. However, Wang Kai's eyes only flashed with a trace of seriousness, and there was no fear or panic. Good timing. Fatal 7 kills sword. Wang Kai roared as he looked at the 9 Soul Masters who were attacking him. He crazily activated the soul power, blood energy, and killing intent in his body. His heartbeat quickened, and Wang Kai felt Shura's blood awakening in his body. Blood-red energy rampaged around Wang Kai, and Wang Kai felt his body brimming with strength. Then he poured the vigorous energy in his body into the 9 Heavens soul-annihilating sword in his hand. Following the injection of Wang Kai's soul power, the 9 Heavens soul-annihilating sword's volume expanded from 2 meters to 3 meters. Its width and thickness also increased. The runes on the sword faintly glowed as if they had been activated. Using all the strength in his body, Wang Kai swung the 9 Heavens soul-annihilating sword in his hand. Suddenly, a terrifying blood-red light spread out with the 9 Heavens soul-annihilating sword as the center. Extremely ferocious energy burst out in all directions, and then the 9 Heavens soul-annihilating sword met the Soul Masters who were attacking Wang Kai. Chapter 293. Bam! 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 Wang Kai's 9 Heavens soul-vanquishing sword struck out and collided with the 8 soul cultivators who were attacking him. In the next moment, Wang Kai's face turned slightly red as his body trembled slightly. However, he still stood where he was and didn't move an inch. At this moment, a powerful wave of energy rippled out from where Wang Kai was standing. It caused cracks to appear on the hard rocks around him. It was as if a cow was plowing through a field. It was evident that Wang Kai had to bear the brunt of this attack. On the other hand, the 8 soul cultivators who were attacking Wang Kai weren't able to stabilize themselves like Wang Kai. All of them were sent flying by Wang Kai's sword. As for the 19 poison needles that the old woman had shot at Wang Kai, they were all either swept away or cut apart by Wang Kai's sword aura. Not a single needle was able to get close to Wang Kai, let alone hurt him. Of the 8 soul cultivators, the one who was the closest to Wang Kai was the Lion King, Gulu. He only took a few steps back before he was able to stabilize himself. If he had to bear the brunt of Wang Kai's sword alone, he would have been severely injured or even killed. However, the other 8 Soul Emperors shared the brunt of Wang Kai's sword with him. Thus, he wasn't severely injured. 2 of his claws were cut off, and his arm was slightly numb. Gu Li's situation was slightly worse. The Sawtooth Sickle and Blazing Wolf Soul cultivators were both forced back nearly 10 steps before they were able to stabilize themselves. However, they didn't suffer any internal injuries from Wang Kai's attack. Like Gu Lu, they only felt a little weak. Their bodies and martial souls weren't severely injured either. Even though their martial souls were slightly damaged, as long as they channeled enough soul force into them, they would be able to repair the damage to their martial souls without harming their souls. As for the beautiful soul cultivator whose martial soul was the Roshue Cloud Cat, her martial soul was an agility-type beast soul. Her physical body was also relatively weak. Thus, she suffered even more injuries from Wang Kai's attack. The bones in her right arm that she used to launch a sneak attack on Wang Kai were directly shattered. Her internal organs churned, and a faint trace of blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. As for the Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master and the Earth-Splitting Divine Whip Soul Master, their soul force ranks were slightly weaker. Therefore, they suffered heavy injuries under the might of Wang Kai's sword. Their martial souls were also slightly damaged, and they were forced back nearly 20 steps before they could barely stop themselves. However, their bodies were still unstable, and their lungs were aching. It was obvious that they had suffered heavy internal injuries. Finally, the lion-bearded, tiger-headed soul cultivator and the desolate, giant-toothed crocodile soul cultivator were also forced back about 20 steps. However, their injuries were more severe than the previous 2 soul cultivators. The lion-bearded, tiger-headed soul cultivator attempted to use his martial soul to hook Wang Kai's arm. Wang Kai's 9 Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword was focused on him, and he was directly cut in 2 by the 9 Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword. The lion-bearded, tiger-headed soul cultivator felt a sharp pain in his head. He was unable to control his body. Fortunately, his spiritual power and soul power were strong enough to prevent him from fainting like the soul kings who had their martial souls shattered. The megalodon crocodile didn't fare any better. He tried to use his teeth to attack Wang Kai, but Wang Kai's 9 Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword managed to cut through his teeth. The sword aura from the 9 Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword cut through his mouth and sliced his head in half. If the 9 Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword had been a few centimeters deeper, the megalodon crocodile would have been killed. Even so, the 9 Heavens Soul Eradicating Sword's energy still struck his brain. If a normal person were to receive such an attack, their brain would have been turned into mush. However, the desolate, giant-toothed crocodile soul cultivator was a soul emperor. His body was strong, and he had soul power in his body. Wang Kai's attack didn't take his life, but the damage to his brain caused him to lose control of his body. He was paralyzed on the ground, unable to move. How is this possible? 9 against 1, and they lost? This is unbelievable. Seeing the scene of Wang Kai displaying his invincible might, the spectators in the arena were all shocked and started discussing. Even the black-armored referee had a look of surprise and admiration in his eyes. "You're the one. I hate people like you who play dirty tricks in the dark. You old, ugly, and treacherous bitch, die." Taking advantage of the fact that the 8 soul cultivators were forced to retreat, Wang Kai roared. Pushing his speed to the limit, he charged at the old woman who used the 9 poison needle. No! The old woman's eyes were filled with extreme fear when she saw Wang Kai charging toward her. Her speed increased at an alarming rate as she retreated in an attempt to escape. "It's useless. You're too slow." Though the old woman looked old, she wasn't slow at all. At the very least, she wasn't any slower than an assault-type soul cultivator of the same level. But in front of Wang Kai, her speed wasn't even worth mentioning. Even Zhang Hui wasn't as fast as Wang Kai, let alone this old woman who was only a high-level soul emperor. With a flash of his figure, Wang Kai chased after her like a maggot and appeared behind the old woman. How is this possible? Sensing that Wang Kai had appeared behind her, The old woman's expression abruptly changed as she questioned in shock. However, it was already too late for her to voice her doubts, as Wang Kai had already slashed out with his sword towards her wrinkled neck. Crack! The old woman's head flew into the air before crashing to the ground. Her throat was still twitching as warm blood gushed out like a blooming flower. It was both beautiful and enchanting. You've killed a rank 67 Soul Emperor. You've received plus 3,350 experience, plus 3 points, plus 3,500 points. You've received 30150 experience from the City of Massacres. 2 notifications rang out in Wang Kai's ears. At the same time, the audience was cheering his name because of Wang Kai's slaughter. The Lion King, Gu Lu, had finally stabilized himself. Seeing the old woman's head and the 2 heavily injured soul cultivators, a hint of fear flashed through his eyes. If he had a choice, he would have made the decision to run away. But the slaughterhouse's rules didn't allow him to do so. As a result, he could only muster all his soul force and charge at Wang Kai in an attempt to find a way out. Chapter 294. It's useless. Gula, you're too weak. Wang Kai didn't panic when he saw the Lion King, Gu Lu, charging towards him. He roared angrily as his eyes flashed with a sharp light. He fiercely activated the 9 Heavens soul eradicating sword to meet Gu Lu in the air. Wang Kai and Gu Li's figures crisscrossed in the air as Wang Kai and Gu Lu came face to face with each other. Gu Lu was also crazily accumulating his soul force. The muscles on his arms bulged as he viciously clawed at Wang Kai's face. 7 kills sword. Wang Kai also circulated his soul force when he saw Gu Lu coming for him. The 9 Heavens soul eradicating sword in his hand emitted a faint blood-red light. Wang Kai then swung the sword to meet Gu Li's sharp claws. At this time, the Sawtooth Scythe Soul Master and the Inferno Wolf Soul Master were able to catch their breaths and regain their ability to move. Taking advantage of Wang Kai and Gu Li's battle, they circulated their soul force and attacked Wang Kai from both sides. The Sawtooth Scythe Soul Master attacked Wang Kai from behind with a swing of his sword. He fiercely slashed at Wang Kai's back. The Inferno Wolf Soul Master wasn't willing to be outdone either. His entire body was bathed in flames as he rushed towards Wang Kai from the sky. A bunch of annoying ants. Wang Kai frowned slightly when he sensed the 2 Soul Masters behind him. If Wang Kai used his body to take on the full-strength attacks of 2 high-level Soul Emperors, he would have been slightly injured. Because of this, Wang Kai's body flashed, and he dodged the attacks of the 2 Soul Masters. Bang! At this time, Wang Kai and Gu Lu clashed. Because of the interference from the 2 soul cultivators who had ambushed him, the strength of Wang Kai's attack was somewhat affected. Even so, the Lion King Gu Lu was still sent flying by Wang Kai's sword. A long gash appeared on his chest, and blood flowed out non-stop from his mouth as he spat out a mouthful of blood. If not for the interference of the 2 Soul Emperors, Wang Kai's sword would have definitely taken Gu Li's life. But even if he didn't die, Gu Lu felt a burning pain in his internal organs. It was as if there was a ball of fire burning inside his body. His soul force was unstable, and he had to use all his strength to suppress it. How scary! Gu Lu couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He crazily urged his soul force to heal his wounds. At this time, most of the other competitors had recovered some of their fighting strength. At this moment, the Catwoman named Ruoxue Chuyun had already stabilized herself. Her eyes flickered with anger as she glared at Wang Kai. However, her right arm was still hanging down unnaturally. It was obvious that her injury had yet to heal. If she had the help of a healing-type Soul Master or a food-type Soul Master, a broken bone wouldn't be difficult to heal. But this was the capital of killing, where soul skills were prohibited. Because of this, Ruoxue Chuyun could only rely on her soul force and blood to heal her broken bone. She had to rely on her left arm to fight. As for the Earthly Emperor's tyrannical Axe Soul Master and the earth-shattering Godly Whip Soul Master, their martial souls were only slightly damaged. After injecting their soul force, their martial souls were restored. However, Their chi and blood were still surging slightly. Clearly, they hadn't fully recovered from Wang Kai's sword strike. The lion-bearded, tiger-headed soul master further away had his martial soul severely injured. But with his strong willpower, he managed to overcome the pain in his sea of consciousness and stood up. At the same time, he reformed his martial soul. However, his face was still a little pale. He seemed to have lost a lot of his vitality. The reformed martial soul in his hand was also a little illusory, as if it would shatter at any time. Of the 8 remaining enemies of Wang Kai, only the desolate Megalodon Soul Master was still on the ground. At this time, fresh blood was flowing out from the wound on his face. His life aura was getting weaker and weaker. It was obvious that he didn't have much longer to live. Everyone, we can only fight with our lives on the line now. Let's use our special skills and stop hiding. Otherwise, we'll all be defeated by them alone. As he roared, Gulu activated his soul force once more and charged at Wang Kai. The sawtooth scythe soul master to the side also crazily circulated his soul force. His speed increased by another 10%. He charged at Wang Kai's side and raised his scythe to slash. On the other side, the blazing wolf soul master's soul force was also boiling. The flames on the surface of his body burned even brighter. At the same time, his body turned into a red line of fire and exploded in front of Wang Kai. Although the Ruoshui Qian soul master had lost the ability to fight with her right arm, she endured the pain and waved her remaining arm to attack Wang Kai from behind. The Lion Whisker Scythe Soul Master waved his Lion Whisker Scythe at Wang Kai's body. The Earthly Emperor's tyrannical axe Soul Master leaped high and raised his axe above his head. He then slashed at Wang Kai's head. The earth-shattering Godly Whip Soul Master also waved his whip at Wang Kai's shoulders. "It's useless. Trash, go to hell." Wang Kai sneered at the sight of the 7 soul cultivators charging at him. Even 9 soul cultivators at their peak wouldn't have been able to do anything to him, let alone 7 soul cultivators who were attacking him. Furthermore, they were all injured to a certain extent. All of this was just the desperate struggle of a cornered beast. Fatal Sword of 7 kills. Wang Kai roared as he poured the soul force in his body into the 9 heavens soul extinguishing sword in his hand. Immediately after, his body moved violently to meet the 7 soul masters who were attacking him. At this moment, there were actually some sonic booms in the air. From this, it could be seen how tyrannical the strength of this attack was. The blood-colored sword Qi wreaked havoc. This time, the 7 soul masters were sent flying far away. Almost simultaneously, they spat out a mouthful of blood. Evidently, their injuries were not light. No, this is impossible. At this moment, a sliver of despair flowed out from Gu Li's eyes. They had already used all of their strength in the 2 combined attacks. Yet Wang Kai was still able to counter them so easily. Such a powerful enemy was simply not someone they could defend against. "Die for me." The second one. Wang Kai's figure flashed as he charged at the most injured soul master. His martial soul had already been shattered by Wang Kai's first attack, and after Wang Kai's second attack, this soul master had already suffered a severe soul force backlash. He had basically lost all ability to resist. Like a ghost, Wang Kai appeared behind the lion-bearded, tiger-headed soul master. In the process, he casually stomped on the head of the unconscious Megalodon crocodile soul master, harvesting his experience to prevent him from being accidentally killed in battle. Chapter 295. Swinging the 9 heavens soul eradicating sword horizontally, Tang Wulin's body was sliced in 2 with the sound of flesh being sliced apart. His body fell limply to the ground as fragments of his internal organs flowed out into the distance. The lion-bearded, tiger-headed soul master was dead. You've killed a rank 67 soul emperor. You've received 365 source sources, 3 source points, and 6,500 credits. Additional reward for the City of Slaughter mission. You've received 3,285 source sources. The 2 system notifications rang out, and a look of satisfaction flashed across Wang Kai's eyes. At this point, the only contestants still alive are the Lion King Gulu, the Sawtooth Scythe Soul Master, the Blazing Ash Wolf Soul Master, the Roashue Chiyun Soul Master, the Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master, and the Earth-Splitting Godly Whip Soul Master. Next, Wong Kai's eyebrows twitched as a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Then, he disappeared from where he stood. The atmosphere in the arena grew tense as Wong Kai disappeared. Not even the 6 participants were able to see Wong Kai's figure clearly. No one knew who Wong Kai's next target would be, or if it would be them. That's right, it's you. Go to hell. In just half a breath's time, Wong Kai appeared behind the Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master like a specter. No, the Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master's expression changed drastically when he sensed Wong Kai appear behind him. A chill quickly surged in his heart, and his entire body trembled involuntarily as he was dominated by fear. However, this Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master only had time to feel fear. The 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword in his hand lightly pushed forward, and with the sound of flesh being torn apart, the thick 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword completely pierced through the Earthly Emperor's chest. Wong Kai exerted a bit of strength in his arm, and the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword spun half a circle inside the Earthly Emperor's body. The Earthly Emperor's innards were completely smashed into a bloody pulp that couldn't be seen. Even though the Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master's life force was stronger than that of a normal person's, how could he withstand such a devastating blow? In just a few breaths of time, the radiance of life had completely disappeared from the eyes of the Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe Soul Master. The Earthly Emperor's Tyrannical Axe martial soul in his hand turned back in his soul power because he couldn't control it. It dissipated in the Hell Slaughter field, and his arms hung limply by his side, swaying back and forth. Goodbye. The sound of the system notification rang in Wong Kai's ears. Wong Kai coldly withdrew the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword, and the corpse of the Earthly Emperor Tyrannical Axe Soul Master softly fell to the ground. The mixture of blood, flesh, and internal organs continuously flowed out of the wound in front of his body, dyeing a large area of the ground below his body red. Don't worry, it'll be your turn soon. After killing the Earthly Emperor, Domineering Axe, Wong Kai turned to look at the remaining 5 Soul Masters with a devilish smile on his face. Everyone, let's go. We still have a chance if we kill this demon. At this moment, the Lion King Gu Li's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. However, everyone in the audience could tell that Gu Li's voice was extremely unconfident compared to the previous 2 shouts. It was as if he was trying to hide his strength. Yes, after hearing Gu Li's words, the remaining 4 Soul Masters looked at each other with helpless expressions on their faces. In fact, the outcome of this Hell Slaughter field was already decided. They knew that death was the only way out for them. However, they weren't willing to give up without putting up a fight. Once again, they channeled the remaining soul power in their bodies and prepared to unleash their strongest attacks. Your courage is commendable. However, your opponent is me. Looking at the 5 Soul Masters in front of him, Wong Kai smiled faintly. After that, he raised the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword in his hand. Blood-smelting soul burst. At this moment, Gulu shouted from the side. After that, his body revealed an abnormal red color. The blood vessels all over his body swelled up, making him look extremely ferocious. At this moment, Gu Li's aura exploded once again. It was covered by a faint blood mist. His eyes and the 3rd eye on his forehead turned blood red as well. He looked extremely ferocious. Let's fight to the death. At this moment, Gu Li's voice was extremely low. It sounded like the roar of a wild beast. However, his strength and soul power had increased by almost 50%. He had gone from an early-stage soul sage to an advanced-stage soul sage. Following that, he pounced towards Wong Kai crazily. It was obvious that Gu Lu had used his life-saving secret technique. Unfortunately, Even though Gu Li's strength had increased by 2 small ranks, he was still much weaker than Wang Kai. Furthermore, because he had lost part of his consciousness, Gu Li's actual fighting strength was far inferior to that of an actual advanced stage soul sage. No, you don't have the right. You're too weak. Be suppressed. Looking at the Lion King Gu Lu, Wang Kai shouted coldly. After that, he raised the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword and slashed at the Lion King Gu Lu. This is our chance. While Wang Kai was focused on Gu Lu, the remaining 4 soul masters' eyes lit up. Die! As he shouted, the blazing wolf soul master increased his speed. Using all the strength in his body, he grabbed at Wang Kai's back. The soul master with the sawtooth scythe crazily circulated his soul force, and a faint layer of purple light appeared on his arm. His body suddenly sped up, and the sawtooth scythe in his hand slashed towards Wang Kai's waist with terrifying speed. The earth-shattering whip soul master waved the whip in his hand and swept it towards Wang Kai's lower body. The last soul master, Ruoshui Chuyun, flashed and waited for an opportunity to attack Wang Kai's weak point. A bunch of troublesome fellows. Even though the 4 soul cultivators were using their full strength, they were still injured and not in their best condition. That was why Wang Kai didn't care about their attacks and went straight for the Lion King Gu Lu. Kacha! Kacha! The 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand slashed down and touched Gu Li's arm. Although Gu Li's body was strong and his soul power and defense were increased by another layer after using a life-saving secret technique, how could his defense be stronger than a 100,000-year soul beast? Following the sound of 2 bones breaking, Gu Li's left and right arms were cut off. Fresh blood spurted out from the thick broken arms, but the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword speed was only reduced by 20%. No! Following Gu Li's heart-wrenching scream, the 3-meter-long 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword came down and cut open Gu Li's skull. Following that, the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword came down with a frightening sword aura. Like tearing silk, it tore Gu Li's body into 2. Chapter 296. By now, the attacks of the other 4 soul cultivators were already closing in on Wang Kai's body. Even if they couldn't use soul skills, Wang Kai wasn't stupid enough to use his body to take on their attacks. Instead, he quickly used the wave-treading steps to nimbly move around. After using the wave-treading steps, Wang Kai's body was like a slippery loach as he twisted and turned in a strange manner. The scythe-wielding soul cultivator's ferocious horizontal slash brushed past Wang Kai's waist and didn't leave a single scratch on Wang Kai. As for the earth-shattering godly whip soul cultivator, his attack did indeed strike Wang Kai's calf with a bang. However, the earth-shattering godly whip soul cultivator felt as if he had struck a steel pillar that had been tempered thousands of times over. The earth-shattering godly whip soul cultivator's all-out attack only left 2 faint dents on Wang Kai's Shura scales. After being weakened by the Shura scales, the earth-shattering godly whip soul cultivator's attack only caused Wang Kai's calf to tremble slightly. It didn't even cause him to feel any pain. On the other hand, the earth-shattering godly whip soul cultivator himself was sent flying by the terrifying recoil from the earth-shattering godly whip soul cultivator. He staggered back 4 or 5 steps before stabilizing himself. His entire arm was slightly numb and his blood was churning. At the same time, the Inferno Wolf Soul Cultivator's sharp claws swiped towards Wang Kai's back. However, Wang Kai had already activated the Shura strength. In the next moment, an incomparably sharp Shura's thorns strangely grew out from Wang Kai's back where his heart was. No! Looking at the spike that suddenly appeared behind Wang Kai, the blazing wolf soul master's eyes flashed with fear. He wanted to stop, but after the sprint, he was now extremely fast. He was in midair and had nowhere to borrow strength. He could only watch as Shura's spike pierced through his arm bone and firmly nailed him behind Wang Kai. Then, he let out a miserable scream. The last female soul master, Ruoshui Qian, was actually the luckiest out of the 4 people who were besieging Wang Kai. Because her right arm was injured, she could only wait for an opportunity to attack Wang Kai. She was the last of the four to make a move. After witnessing her companion's painful experience, she stopped attacking Wang Kai and escaped the fate of being severely injured. Killed a rank 72 Soul Emperor. Origin experience plus 2,200. Origin points plus 22. Massacre City Mission special reward. Extra experience plus 19,800 origin points. After dealing with the Soul Master besieging him, the system's notification rang in Wang Kai's ears. Gu Li's corpse, which had been split in half, fell to the sides and blood flowed out continuously from the wounds. "Oof, you dared sneak attack me? Go to hell." Wang Kai laughed sinisterly. Then he activated the blood essence in his body and Shura's killing aura. Suddenly, dozens of sharp spikes extended from Wang Kai's back and stabbed towards the Inferno Wolf Soul Master behind him. Seeing the spikes in his field of vision getting bigger and bigger, the Inferno Wolf Soul Master was scared out of his wits. His eyes were filled with fear, and he let out an inhuman scream. Several seconds later, the Inferno Wolf Soul Master's screams gradually weakened. At this time, his body had been pierced by dozens of Shura's spikes. Like a hedgehog, blood flowed out continuously from the hideous wounds on his body and flowed through the Shura's spikes to Wang Kai's body. Killed a rank 68 Soul Emperor. Experience plus 480. Origin points plus 4. Origin points plus 8,000 origin points. Massacre City Mission special reward. Experience plus 4,320 origin points. Several Shura spikes pierced through the Inferno Wolf Soul Master's heart and brain. As a result, he didn't last for more than a few seconds before dying. After hearing the system's notification, Wang Kai coldly retracted the Shura spikes. The Inferno Wolf Soul Master's body, which was full of holes, fell to the ground. His mouth was wide open and his eyes were still filled with fear. It was obvious that he had suffered inhuman pain before dying. Blood flowed out from the dozens of holes on his body. It's your turn. After killing 2 more people, other than Wang Kai, there were only the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master, Ruoshui Chiyun Cat Soul Master, and the Earth-Splitting Godly Whip Soul Master left on the stage. Previously, there were more people, and with the Lion King Gu Lu taking the lead, the remaining contestants were able to muster up the courage to attack Wang Kai. But now, there were only 3 contestants left to fight against Wang Kai. The Lion King Gu Lu had been cut in half by Wang Kai, and his corpse was still lying on the ground. The remaining 3 contestants no longer had the courage to fight against Wang Kai. Sweeping his gaze over the remaining 3 contestants, Wang Kai immediately decided on his next target. When Wang Kai's cold and murderous gaze swept over them, the remaining 3 Soul Masters trembled with fear. They lowered their heads and hid in 3 different directions of the stage, not daring to look at Wang Kai. "The next one is you." With a cold shout, Wang Kai's figure disappeared from sight. Then, with lightning speed, Wang Kai arrived beside the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master. With a wave of the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword, a blood-red sword light slashed towards the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master's head. Seeing Wang Kai coming for him, the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master gritted his teeth and channeled all his soul force into his blade to meet Wang Kai's attack. Clang! The sound of metal clashing against metal rang out, and the scythe in the Sawtooth Scythe Soul Master's hands almost broke apart. His arms were numb from the recoil, and the web between his thumb and forefinger split open, causing his organs to churn. Coupled with the recoil from the injury to his martial soul, the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master spat out a mouthful of blood. His blood was boiling, and he could barely hold on to his blade. "Goodbye." Looking at the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master, who was trembling slightly, Wang Kai didn't show the slightest bit of mercy. He waved his arm and used the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword to slash at the Sawtooth Sickle Soul Master's neck. Crack! He raised his hand and brought his sword down. The crisp sound of a neck snapping rang out, and the Sawtooth Scythe Soul Master's head flew high into the air. Blood spurted out from his neck due to his blood pressure, and his body fell limply to the side. At the same time, the system's notification rang out once more. Next, in a flash, Wang Kai rushed forward like a black line and went straight for the earth-shattering Godly Whip's Soul Master. Seeing that Wang Kai was coming for him, the earth-shattering Godly Whip Soul Master also frantically ran for his life towards the last remaining Ruoshui Chuyunkat Soul Master. Chapter 297. No, don't come over. Looking at the earth-splitting Godly Whip Soul Master and Wang Kai, who was following closely behind him like a demon, the eyes of the Ruoshui Primal Cloud Cat, Soul Master, flashed with a look of fear. She then scuttled and fled into the distance. You can't escape. Wang Kai's speed was enough to crush a rank 67 Soul Master like the earth-splitting whip, even if they were in an open space. How could he possibly be able to do that in such a small and narrow arena? In just a few breaths of time, Wang Kai had already caught up to him and then slashed down heavily with his sword. Blood splattered everywhere. Wang Kai's sword had directly beheaded the earth-splitting Godly Whip's Soul Master, and the system's notification coldly sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Now it's your turn. The headless corpse of the earth-splitting Godly Whip Soul Master fell softly to the ground. Wang Kai also carried the treasure sword that was still bleeding and turned around. His eyes coldly looked at the last Ruoshui Primal Cloud Cat Soul Master, then got up and flashed towards her. Don't kill me. Master, I can serve you well here. My body is also at your disposal. I beg you, don't kill me now. Seeing Wang Kai walking towards her, the Ruoshui Primal Cloud Cat Soul Master lightly gritted her teeth. Her body trembled slightly. Her face was pale, and there was an unconcealable fear in her eyes. However, she still forced herself to be calm. She undressed, revealing her white skin and alluring figure, and tempting Wang Kai with a soft voice. Oh! Looking at the Ruoshui Primal Cloud Cat Soul Master in front of him, Wang Kai also let out a soft cry of surprise. In the capital of slaughter, this female Soul Master could be considered to be somewhat beautiful. Even with Wang Kai's standards of beauty, she was enough to score 3 or 4 points. That's right. Master, this concubine is proficient in all kinds of skills, whether it is ventriloquism or those special positions. Master, come quickly. This concubine will definitely satisfy you. Hearing Wang Kai's words, the female Soul Master called Ruoshui Chiyun thought that Wang Kai was a little shaken, so she opened her mouth again and tried to tempt him. Wang Kai didn't continue to move after hearing the words of Ruoshui Chiyun. If this Ruoshui Primal Cloud Cat Soul Master was a virgin, Wang Kai might have been a little interested in her. However, after using his spiritual power to examine her, he found that the bottom of her body was black and extremely loose. It was very obvious that this was a pair of broken shoes that had been used by many people. Seeing this, Wang Kai suddenly became dull. Instead, he felt very disgusted. Although Wang Kai didn't say that he would only accept virgins, Wang Kai couldn't bring up the slightest interest when he saw such a bus. He only felt nauseous. What's more, this was the Hell Slaughter Field. In this arena, no matter what, only one person could survive. This Ruoshui Chuyunkat Soul Master was tempting Wang Kai, who was an enemy. There was definitely something fishy going on. As expected, after using his spiritual power to probe, Wang Kai found that this Ruoshui Chuyunkat Soul Master had several poisonous needles hidden in her private parts. Once a man was tempted by her, his most vulnerable and most important part would be attacked by the poisonous needles. There was a high chance that he would be poisoned to death. What a vicious and merciless woman. After feeling the methods of this Ruoshui Chuyunkat Soul Master, Wang Kai's eyes were filled with killing intent. However, Wang Kai immediately concealed the killing intent in his eyes and strode towards the Ruoshui Chuyunkat Soul Master. Master, please come in. Seeing that Wang Kai had taken the bait, this Ruoshui Chuyunkat Soul Master's eyes revealed a trace of joy. She turned her back to Wang Kai and spoke with an even more seductive tone. However, under Wang Kai's spiritual power, he could still easily detect the hidden ruthlessness in her eyes. However, things didn't go according to this Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master's plan. Although Wang Kai was indeed walking towards her, Wang Kai only came to her side and stopped. Then, he heavily raised the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. I don't like to kill women. However, you made me feel very disgusted today. Go to hell. Urging his soul power, Wang Kai coldly raised the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. Then, using the sword body to violently tremble in a strange rhythm, he ruthlessly knocked down. No! Feeling the wind brought by the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword above her head, this Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master screamed. Then, the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword had already heavily knocked on the top of her head. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. This Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master's head didn't explode like everyone expected. Her face revealed a trace of bewilderment, but in the next moment, the bewilderment in her eyes turned into fear. It was as if she had seen the most frightening thing in the world. Pili Pala, Wang Kai gently lifted the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword from the Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master's skull. In the next second, this Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Sage's bones emitted a crisp sound like firecrackers. Her white body suddenly trembled under the hidden force of Wang Kai's sword. This Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master's bones actually began to rapidly shatter. From top to bottom, they turned into fine bone powder little by little. And when this hidden force transmitted to her lungs, her 5 viscera and 6 bowels were also shattered into pieces, and her flesh was badly mutilated. Plop! A second later, this Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master seemed to have turned into a lump of snow-white soft meat. It caved in, and then she suddenly collapsed on the ground. The sinister look in her beautiful eyes disappeared. Under the immense fear, her soul scattered, and she became a plasticine-like corpse. Her vitality was instantly extinguished, and the system's notification rang out again. Then, I announced that the winner of this hell slaughtering tournament is number 1145, Mr. Sword Demon. At the same time, we would also like to congratulate Mr. Sword Demon for reaching 17 victories and successfully entering the top 100 of the Hell Slaughtering Grounds. Finally, we also wish this newcomer who has only been in the City of Slaughter for less than 2 months to continue working hard and challenge the legendary champion, or even the Slaughtering God's position. Audience, applaud for him. Cheer for him. Cheer for him. Wang Kai was the only one left in the Hell Slaughtering Grounds. At this moment, the referee at the side strode forward, raised Wang Kai's right hand, and announced loudly to the audience, "Sword Demon, Sword Demon, Sword Demon, you're the best. Come on, Sword Demon, well done." Hearing the referee's voice, the audience stood up excitedly and loudly cheered Wang Kai's nickname. However, in the crowd, there was a lean man with a gloomy expression looking at the Ruoshui Chuyun Cat Soul Master's corpse on the ground, and then he quickly left the Hell Slaughtering Grounds. Chapter 298. Not bad. Another 50,000 experience points have entered my account. The City of Massacres is truly my blessed land. After ending the Hell Slaughtering competition, Wang Kai left the Hell Slaughtering Grounds under the awe-inspiring gazes of the audience and returned to his palace number 12. Because Wang Kai wasn't injured in the Hell Slaughtering competition, no one dared to make a move against Wang Kai. While recalling his gains from the battle, Wang Kai nodded in satisfaction. After returning to the 12th palace, Wang Yi and the other servants immediately came forward to greet Wang Kai. Soon after, Wang Kai also arrived at the large bath in the 12th palace. He took out some 7th grade heaven rank blood mushroom powder and sprinkled it into the bath. After that, he sank into the bath and enjoyed a hot bath. Closing his eyes, Wang Kai enjoyed this rare moment of leisure while washing off the bloodstains on his skin. At this moment, a wave of curses came from outside palace number 12. "Little thief Wang Kai, get the hell out here. Little thief Wang Kai, get the hell out here. Little thief Wang Kai, get the hell out here. Which guy dares to make a ruckus outside my palace?" Hearing the curses coming from outside, Wang Kai frowned slightly. He immediately climbed out of the bath, put on his clothes, and walked out of the palace. Which old dog dares to spout nonsense outside my palace? As he spoke coldly, Wang Kai lowered his head and scanned the uninvited guests outside the palace. Outside palace number 12, there were a total of 7 soul masters who were cursing and swearing. The leader of the group was a soul cultivator who was a round one, 8 meters tall. He had a head of golden hair, and his skin was very white and glossy. His aura was feminine, and he didn't have the slightest hint of masculinity. With his long hair, he was no different from a woman. His muscles weren't very obvious, and he was much thinner than the several burly men behind him. Kai Kun, why did you bring your subordinates to my palace number 12? Could it be that you want to fight with me? Looking at this androgynous soul master in front of him, Wang Kai immediately recognized his name. With such obvious characteristics, who else could it be other than the owner of palace number 3, Kai Kun? However, at this moment, Wang Kai had a trace of doubt in his heart. Logically speaking, he felt that there was no direct conflict between him and Kai Kun. Why was Kai Kun looking for trouble with him for no reason? Little thief Wang Kai, you dare to kill my woman, Xiao Luo. I will not live under the same sky with you. Flashing with hatred, Kai Kun stared at Wang Kai. His eyes seemed to be able to spit out sparks as he said word by word. Xiao Luo, are you talking about that cat-type soul master who tried to use his body to seduce me in the slaughterhouse? I didn't expect you to like that kind of bus. You're a disgrace to us men. Oh, right? I don't think you're a man. That's fine. After hearing Kai Kun's words, Wang Kai immediately understood the situation. However, he didn't reveal any trace of fear on his face. Instead, he mocked Kai Kun. Good. Very good. Wang Kai, you little thief. Kai Kun, swear that I will not live under the same sky with you today. Either you die, or I die. Brothers, let's attack together. After hearing Wang Kai's reply, the fury in Kai Kun's eyes increased by more than 10 times. After that, he looked at Wang Kai and shouted angrily. As he shouted, Kai Kun activated his soul power and revealed the terrifying aura of a rank 82 soul de law. Purple soul power condensed in his hand and condensed into a 2.5-meter-long purple gold centipede. It flickered with dazzling light and was incomparably sharp. At the same time, a few of Kai Kun's underlings behind him also activated their soul power and revealed their martial souls. Compared to Zhang Hui's underlings, Kai Kun's underlings were undoubtedly stronger. Although they weren't soul sages, they were all high-level soul emperors above rank 67. Every single one of them had a chance of winning 10 or even 15 times in the slaughterhouse. If you want to fight, then let's fight. The city is too narrow, and I can't use my full strength. If you're so capable, then let's fight in the blood-sobbing forest. As he looked at Kai Kun and his underlings behind him, Wang Kai smiled slightly. How could he not accept such experience that was delivered to his doorstep? However, Kai Kun was a soul de law, after all, and he had his underlings to help him. If Wang Kai wasn't careful, there was a risk that he would be injured. On top of that, there were also those spectators who were eyeing him with hostility. Wang Kai didn't want to make things too difficult for himself. Other than that, if he could leave the slaughterhouse and enter the depths of the blood-sobbing forest, Wang Kai could use his soul skills without worry and crush his opponents. Wang Kai didn't have any reason to reject such a good opportunity. Therefore, when he saw Kai Kun and his underlings unleash their martial souls to attack him, Wang Kai didn't fight them directly. Instead, he activated his soul power and used Emperor Shura's possession. Immediately, red and black scales grew out of Wang Kai's body. After that, Wang Kai stomped on the ground. Following a muffled bang, his body turned into a black line that ordinary people couldn't see. After that, he ran towards the gates of the slaughterhouse. Chase after him. Kai Kun roared as he saw Wang Kai's figure. After that, he activated his soul power and led several of his underlings to chase after Wang Kai. As they watched the two of them chase after each other, the onlookers in the slaughterhouse all retreated. They were afraid that they would be involved in the conflict between the two of them. Compared to Wang Kai and Kai Kun's speed, Kai Kuen's underlings were left far behind. 20 minutes later, Wang Kai and Kai Kuen left the slaughterhouse one after another and entered the blood-sobbing forest. Another half an hour passed. Wang Kai and Kai Kuen were almost 50 kilometers away from the slaughterhouse. At this moment, Wang Kai suddenly stopped. Thief, why aren't you running anymore? Seeing that Wang Kai had stopped, Kai Kuen's eyes revealed a trace of mockery. Even he had used a lot of soul power to chase after Wang Kai at full speed for so long. In his opinion, Wang Kai had used up all his soul power, which was why he stopped. Not running anymore? Why do I have to run? Kai Kuen, I see that the scenery here is beautiful. It's perfect for your grave. So please die. As he spoke, Wang Kai activated his soul power. Suddenly, his fourth and sixth soul rings lit up. Shura's monarch armor. Shura's demonic flame. Following two low roars, Wang Kai's soul power surged. Following that, under Kai Kuen's astonished gaze, the heroic and domineering monarch Shura's monarch armor flashed next to Wang Kai. The large king word on it moved one's heart. The three shields of light surrounding it were incomparably beautiful. Chapter 299. When Shura's monarch armor appeared, streaks of red and black Shura's demonic flames started to burn on Wang Kai's body. Suddenly, with Wang Kai as the center, the temperature of the surrounding environment rose by a few degrees. However, Kai Kuen, who was far away, did not feel the change in the environment at all. Instead, he felt cold all over. Soul skill. How is this possible? How did you do that? Kai Kuen's eyes were filled with astonishment when he saw the two soul rings behind Wang Kai suddenly light up, as well as the strange armor and flames that had appeared on Wang Kai's body. His mouth was so wide open that it seemed as though a light bulb could be stuffed inside. A dead man doesn't need to know the reason. As he looked coldly at Kai Kuen's disgusting face, Wang Kai smiled sinisterly. After that, he channeled his soul power into the nine heavens' soul-vanquishing sword and slashed. Suddenly, the runes on the outer shell of the nine heavens' soul-vanquishing sword in Wang Kai's hand shone. The blade of the nine heavens' soul-vanquishing sword became longer and thicker. After that, Wang Kai's figure flashed, and he went straight for Kai Kuen. Open. Seeing the nine heavens' soul-vanquishing sword in Wang Kai's hand, Kai Kuen's eyes revealed a helpless look. After that, he channeled his soul power and waved his arm. He waved the purple gold hoe in his hand and fought with Wang Kai. Clang! Even if he didn't use any soul skills, Wang Kai's strength and fighting strength weren't inferior to Kai Kuen's. After using two soul skills, Wang Kai's overall attributes were strengthened by around 50%. As a result, Kai Kuen's arm was slightly sore and the web between his thumb and forefinger was slightly numb. You're quite capable. Again. A sinister smile appeared on Wang Kai's face when he saw Kai Kuen's miserable appearance. Without giving Kai Kuen any time to catch his breath, Wang Kai's figure flashed once again. Soon after, he brazenly swung his sword towards Kai Kuen's head. Kai Kuen's eyes revealed a helpless look when he saw the nine heavens' soul-vanquishing sword coming at him. He could only wave his sword to meet it. Sword shadows intersected and sparks flew everywhere. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai and Kai Kuen had already exchanged more than 20 blows. As the battle progressed, Wang Kai became fiercer and fiercer. His sword was faster and faster and fiercer than the last. On the other hand, Kai Kuen, under Wang Kai's terrifying attack, felt his arms go numb. The web between his thumb and forefinger had cracked, and blood flowed out continuously. His internal organs were churning, and there was a slight sweetness in his throat. He could barely hold on to the long chain of the purple gold centipede in his hand. At this point, Kai Kuen finally understood why Wang Kai wanted to leave the city of massacre. He wasn't afraid of him, and he wasn't running away. He just didn't want to expose the fact that he could still use soul skills in the city of massacre. He wanted to find a secret place to save himself. In these 20 exchanges with Wang Kai, Kai Kuen didn't think about Tao Pa. However, He could only helplessly realize that Wang Kai's sword skills were like a storm. He didn't have any chance to escape. Helpless, Kai Kuan could only bitterly hold on under Wang Kai's attacks. He was at death's door. Again, fatal 7 kills sword. Wang Kai's figure flashed beside Kai Kuan as he channeled his soul power again. He slashed at Kai Kuan again. At this point, Kai Kuan's blood was a little weak. However, in order to survive, he could only raise the purple gold hoe in his hand and use all his strength to block the attack. Clang! Another sound of metal clashing rang out. Sparks and violent air currents from the collision sputtered in all directions. The power of Wang Kai's sword was stronger than any of the previous attacks. Kai Kuan was on the verge of exhaustion. Following a light sound, the purple gold hoe in Kai Kuan's hand was knocked to the ground by Wang Kai's sword. Go to hell! Seeing that Kai Kuan's weapon was knocked out of his hand, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with a bright light. After that, he channeled his soul power and blood energy to slash at Kai Kuan's neck. No! Seeing the 9 heavens soul-destroying sword coming for his neck, Kai Kuan's eyes revealed a look of fear. His body trembled uncontrollably. However, he didn't beg for mercy. He already knew Wang Kai's greatest secret. How could Wang Kai let him live? Begging for mercy was just asking for humiliation. Crack! Kai Kuan's screams of despair came to an abrupt end. Following the sound of his bones breaking and the friction of his muscles being cut, Kai Kuan's head was completely separated from his body in less than a second. Boiling blood gushed out like a fountain from Kai Kuan's broken throat. Kai Kuan's feminine, half male, half female, disgusting head was blown high into the air by the pillar of blood. Plop! Accompanied by a muffled sound, Kai Kuan's head heavily fell to the ground, rolling a few times before coming to a stop. His headless body had also completely lost its support, falling limply to the side. Only blood continued to flow out from the wound on his neck, nourishing the ground of the weeping blood forest. You've killed a rank 82 Soul de Law. Origin experience plus 14,000. Origin points plus 140. Additional reward for the City of Massacre mission. Congratulations on obtaining an additional 126,000 experience points. 2 notifications sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Wang Kai couldn't help but reveal a surprised smile. 1. For billion origin experience points. That's awesome. Even the basic experience points from killing Kai Kuan were close to half of what Wang Kai had gained from killing Dugabo. It could be said to be extremely generous. In addition to the additional reward from the City of Massacre, it actually filled up half of Wang Kai's experience bar for the next level up. At this point, Wang Kai also understood that Dugu Bo's cultivation had already reached the level of a soul elder when he had killed him. As a result, he had only obtained the origin experience that corresponded to Dugu Bo's flesh and blood, which was why the experience that he had obtained was similar to that of Kai Kuan, a mere soul de law. Oh, I'm about to level up. As he picked up Kai Kuan's head, which was still dripping with blood, and stored it in his spatial ring, Wang Kai opened his stats window. After killing Kai Kuan, the experience bar on his stats window had already reached 28250030000. This meant that Wang Kai was only 1 step away from becoming a rank 66 Soul Emperor. Since I'm already here, I might as well take a look at the inner regions of the blood-sobbing forest. I can also gather enough experience points to become a rank 66 Soul Emperor. With that thought, Wang Kai turned around and stopped walking in the direction of the City of Massacre. At the same time, he released Mo Shu from the small plane. Daddy, are we going to hunt again today? After walking out of the small plane, Mo Shu looked around at her surroundings. After that, she came to Wang Kai's side and smiled sweetly. That's right. Wang Kai gently patted Mo Shu's cute little head and nodded slightly in agreement. After that, he held Mo Shu's hand and headed towards the inner regions of the blood-sobbing forest. Chapter 300. As they made their way deeper into the blood-weeping forest, the trees grew taller and taller. The leaves grew darker and darker, and the number of blood beasts increased as well. Of course, these blood beasts weren't very powerful. Most of them were in their infancy or growth stages, so they couldn't possibly stop Wang Kai and Mo Shu, who possessed heaven-defying battle prowess. Instead, they were killed one by one and turned into source experience and blood crystals, becoming resources for Wang Kai and Mo Shu to continue evolving and becoming stronger. Several hours later, Wang Kai and Mo Shu finally reached the outskirts of the blood-weeping forest and began their hunt. One after another, the young and matured blood beasts were easily killed by Wang Kai and Mo Shu. There were even a few matured blood beasts that were comparable to soul emperors. One blood beast after another was killed, and Wang Kai's experience bar continued to rise. He was getting closer and closer to becoming a rank 66 soul emperor. At that moment, Wang Kai's ears trembled. A strange roar could be heard from afar, and the earth trembled as three strange blood beasts ran out from the forest. The appearance of these three blood fiends were similar to apes. However, they were much taller than the average ape. The shortest one was close to 3 meters tall, while the tallest one was 4 meters tall. Furthermore, their fur and eyes were completely blood red. Not only that, but these three blood fiends also didn't have ordinary fur on their bodies. There were many dense and sharp blood-colored spikes that flickered with a strange blood-colored light. On their foreheads, there was a blood-red king word, which made them look very majestic. These are the sharp-armored king blood apes. Looking at the characteristics of the three blood fiends, Wang Kai immediately recognized their identities and immediately used the detection eye to scan them. Complete forms. These are three complete, sharp-armored king blood apes. Wonderful. I'll be able to become a rank 66 soul emperor if I kill them all. Wang Kai nodded slightly when he sensed the strength of the three sharp-armored king blood apes. A smile appeared on his face. Even though the experience gained from blood beasts was less than that of soul beasts and soul masters, three blood beasts that were comparable to soul sages was enough for Wang Kai to advance. Mo Shu, you deal with the smallest and weakest one. Leave the other two to me. Wang Kai turned his head and instructed Mo Shu with a smile. Yes, father. Mo Shu smiled sweetly when she heard Wang Kai's words. She stared coldly at the weakest sharp-armored king blood ape and charged towards it. Shura's monarch armor. Shura's devil fire. Wang Kai channeled his soul power as he looked at the remaining two stronger blood beasts. In the next moment, his fourth and sixth black soul rings started to ring. The Azura Emperor King armor appeared around his body, and black-red Azura demonic flames started to burn around him. Nine Heavens soul-annihilating sword. After unleashing his two soul skills, Wang Kai didn't unleash his Azura dragon-slaying spear. Instead, he poured his soul power into the Nine Heavens soul-vanquishing sword in his hand. Instantly, the Nine Heavens soul-vanquishing sword was unleashed. When Wang Kai was still weak, the Shura's dragon-slaying spear was still very strong. Wang Kai's dragon-slaying spear had evolved, but it couldn't greatly increase Wang Kai's strength anymore. Wang Kai didn't realize this problem in the beginning. Wang Kai felt that Shura's monarch armor wasn't strong enough. Wang Kai planned to refine Shura's dragon-slaying spear and Shura's monarch armor's soul rings after he returned. He also planned to reconfigure them with stronger soul rings. On the side, Wang Kai was ready to receive the attack. The two king blood apes also arrived in front of Wang Kai, one on the left and one on the right. They then waved their thick, blood-red arms, which were covered with sharp spikes, and viciously hammered at Wang Kai's head. Good timing. Wang Kai smiled when he saw the two sharp-armored king blood apes. He waved his Nine Heavens soul-annihilating sword. Fatal sword of 7 kills. Vast amounts of soul power and blood energy were injected into the Nine Heavens soul-annihilating sword. The runes on the Nine Heavens soul-annihilating sword shone slightly. Wang Kai waved his arm, and a powerful sword aura slashed down on the two sharp-armored king blood apes' arms. At this moment, there was a sonic boom in the air. It was obvious how strong Wang Kai's sword was. Kacha! Kacha! Two crisp sounds rang out. Wang Kai's nine heavens, soul-annihilating sword struck the thick arms of the two sharp-armored king blood apes. Instantly, the sound of flesh being sliced apart reverberated through the air. Wang Kai's sword swept the two sharp-armored king blood apes far away. One of the sharp-armored king blood ape's arms was almost sliced in half. Even the bones were completely separated. Fresh blood gushed out. The other sharp-armored king blood ape's injuries were lighter. However, there was a wound that was tens of centimeters long on its arm. It was so deep that the bone could be seen. Ayo! Ayo! Whether it was because of pain or anger, the two sharp-armored king blood apes raised their heads and roared. Their roars were infused with blood energy and seemed to suppress all other sounds around them. Go to hell! Looking at the two injured sharp-armored king blood apes, Wang Kai's eyes flashed. He waved his nine heavens soul-annihilating sword again and attacked the two sharp-armored king blood apes. Seeing Wang Kai coming for them, the two low-intelligence sharp-armored king blood apes didn't have any thoughts of running away. Instead, they continued to attack Wang Kai. Fatal sword of 7 kills. Another sword swept across, and the two sharp-armored king blood apes were sent flying again. Their tall, muscular bodies had 2 more long wounds on them. Fresh blood flowed out. However, even though they knew that they were no match for Wang Kai, they didn't have any intention of retreating. Instead, they attacked Wang Kai again. Sword shadows flashed. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai and the two sharp-armored king blood apes had exchanged more than 10 blows. At this point, there were more than 10 wounds on their bodies. Blood flowed out of their wounds every second. If they were normal soul beasts, they would have fainted after being attacked like this. However, these two sharp-armored king blood apes were blood beasts that were born from the law of slaughter in the capital of slaughter. They were different from normal soul beasts. Even though they were heavily injured and had less than 20% of their life force left, their attacking strength didn't decrease at all. The blood-red color in their eyes became more and more vibrant. Again, Wang Kai slashed out again. This time, the sharp-armored king blood ape on the right suddenly pounced over and tried to grab onto Wang Kai. The sharp-armored king blood ape on the left was also surging with blood energy. The spikes on its body flashed with a dazzling red light. It was obvious that they were preparing a killing move against Wang Kai. Chapter 301. Insignificant skill. Wang Kai's eyes flashed with mockery as he looked at the sharp-armored king blood ape that was pouncing towards him, following which he activated his soul power. If such a clumsy combination attack could threaten him, then he wasn't fit to be the holy son of the martial soul hall. Sure as instant hell shadow spike. With a thought, Wang Kai's 5th soul ring flashed behind him. In the next moment, his body suddenly turned into a shadow and mysteriously disappeared from his original spot. Following which, Wang Kai's figure flashed 10 meters away and nimbly escaped the pouncing attack of the sharp-armored king blood ape on the right. At the same time, the body of the sharp-armored king blood ape on the left suddenly swelled up. Following which, the spikes on its body suddenly left its body and exploded in all directions, bringing with them a whooshing sound. This showed how fast it was and how powerful it was. If Wang Kai was really restricted by the sharp-armored king blood ape on the right, then he would have fallen into the concentrated attack zone of the sharp-armored king blood ape on the left. However, after using his soul skill to escape, Wang Kai's current position was replaced by the sharp-armored king blood ape on the right. Countless blood-colored spikes traversed through space and pierced into its body, exploding into clouds of blood mist. The front of its body was blasted into a bloody mess, and its life aura weakened once again. Good chance. After activating the blood-colored spikes outside its body, the life aura of the sharp-armored king blood ape on the left was also greatly reduced. Seeing the two sharp-armored king blood apes in a weakened state, Wang Kai's eyes flashed, following which he tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and leapt high into the air. At the same time, he crazily activated the 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. At their peak, the two sharp-armored king blood apes could still resist Wang Kai's attacks with their blood energy and strong physique. However, they were completely exhausted now. Wang Kai waved the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword, and sword chi swept out, directly cutting the two sharp-armored king blood apes in half. Their corpses turned into blood particles and dissipated in the weeping blood forest. Only two ruby-like high-grade blood crystals remained on the ground. Two complete sharp-armored king blood apes have been killed. You've received plus 3,205 experience, plus 32 points, plus 500 points. Host has 300,540 experience points. Upgrade requires 300,000 experience points. Congratulations on becoming a Soul Emperor. Next upgrade, 540350000 points. Following the death of the two complete sharp-armored king blood apes, two system notifications sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Following this, a warm current formed by the power of evolution continuously flowed out from the depths of Wang Kai's body and flowed through his tendons and veins. Soaking in the power of evolution, Wang Kai's every cell was jumping with joy. His tendons and veins were crazily absorbing the power of evolution and expanding. They were becoming stronger and stronger and could contain even more and pure soul power. His muscles and bones were also constantly being reborn and transformed under the power of evolution, becoming even stronger and tougher. Wang Kai's body was continuously improving. At the same time, Wang Kai's soul power was continuously being purified and liquefied as he came into contact with the power of evolution. After several advancements, Wang Kai's soul power was already 90% liquefied. However, the liquefaction of soul power became more and more difficult. Wang Kai estimated that he would have to wait until he became a soul sage before he could successfully liquefy his soul power. This would allow his fighting strength to reach a new level. Of course, Wang Kai's achievement was already enough to be proud of. Generally speaking, only soul sages on the Doloa continent had the right to liquefy their soul power. Even the most outstanding individuals could only start liquefying their soul power after they became soul emperors. Only titled Doloa could complete liquefaction of their soul power. Wang Kai was able to liquefy 90% of his soul power as a soul emperor. This was already an extremely heaven-defying achievement. At the same time, waves of power of evolution surged into Wang Kai's sea of consciousness. After this, they turned into streaks of cool air that fused into Wang Kai's sea of consciousness. With the help of these cool air currents, Wang Kai's sea of consciousness was slowly expanding. His spiritual power was also increasing. His originally gaseous spiritual power was also gathering under the guidance of the cool air currents and was continuously liquefying. Just as Wang Kai was reveling in the joy of his advancement, the battle between Mo Shu and the sharp-armored king blood ape was coming to an end. After refining large amounts of blood crystals, Mo Shu had also rapidly developed and matured. Her current strength was comparable to a 25,000-year soul beast. She was comparable to the weakest sharp-armored king blood ape. However, as Wang Kai's blood descended, Mo Shu had been baptized by Shura's power. She had been baptized in terms of the nature of life. She had also shed her beastly instincts and gained intelligence that was comparable to, or even superior to, humans. While the sharp-armored king blood ape's strength, fighting techniques, and blood energy were not bad, it was still a mere beast. It was easily beaten up by Mo Shu. Go to hell. Toxic Ray. Mo Shu's beautiful eyes flashed with killing intent as she looked at the sharp-armored king blood ape in front of her. Its body had been corroded by the corrosive missile, and its mobility had been greatly reduced by the paralyzing poison. Soon after, she channeled the energy in her body. In the next moment, the eye-shaped rune on Mo Shu's forehead suddenly flashed. Following this, a jade-green beam of light shot out from it, directly towards the sharp-armored king blood ape's head. In the path of the jade-green beam of light, the trunks and leaves of the blood trees were all turned into water. It was evident how powerful Mo Shu's attack was. The jade-green toxic ray viciously struck the sharp-armored king blood ape's face. Following this, the toxic ray of light immediately dissolved into a pool of water. After that, the toxic ray of light continued to shoot towards the sharp-armored King Blood Ape's brain. Finally, the sharp-armored King Blood Ape's brain was completely corroded and melted. Assisted in killing a complete blood beast, sharp-armored King Blood Ape obtained plus 600 experience, plus 6 points. As Wang Kai's kin, Mo Shu would receive half the experience after killing the enemy. A notification rang out in Wang Kai's mind. Following this, the sharp-armored King Blood Ape's body turned into blood-red specks and disappeared into the blood-weeping forest. Dad, did I do well? Mo Shu revealed a trace of a smile after killing the enemy. Following this, the rune on her forehead slowly extinguished. Afterwards, she skipped over to Wang Kai's side and asked briskly, "Yes, Mo Shu did very well. I didn't expect the sorceress to do such a good job. It's just that you destroyed her blood crystal. But it's okay, I've also killed 2 King Blood Apes, so I'll give you one of the blood crystals. Just be careful next time." Wang Kai revealed a doting smile as he gently stroked Mo Shu's hair. Soon after, he took out a high-grade blood crystal that he had just obtained and handed it to Mo Shu. Chapter 302. Thank you, Father. I've remembered everything you've told me. I'll be more careful next time. After receiving Wang Kai's caress and praise, as well as the high-grade blood crystals from Wang Kai's hands, Mo Shu was elated. Her face was full of smiles, and she was very cute. Seeing how happy Mo Shu was, Wang Kai stood behind her again and pinched her cute face. Unlike the substandard, low-grade, and middle-grade blood crystals, high-grade blood crystals were produced from blood fiends that were comparable to soul sages. These blood crystals contained more energy, and even Wang Kai benefited from them after refining them. Therefore, Wang Kai didn't plan to give all of them to Mo Shu. He wanted to keep some for his own cultivation. Mo Shu, I can see that you're a little tired. Coincidentally, I've also advanced, and I need to rest. Let's go back. After successfully advancing to a rank 66 Soul Emperor and exploring the inner regions of the blood-sobbing forest, Wang Kai had basically achieved his goal. After informing Mo Shu, he brought her back and set off for the capital of massacres again. They didn't say anything along the way. Wang Kai's origin experience increased by another 2,000 points as he killed the blood fiends along the way. After several hours, the towering capital of massacres appeared in front of Wang Kai and Mo Shu once again. At this time, Wang Kai also kept Mo Shu back into the small plain. He then took out Kai Kuen's disgusting and bloody head and held it in his hand. After that, he strode into the capital of massacres. Look, that head. Kai Kuen has already been killed. What? My God, Kai Kuen was actually killed by the sword demon Wang Kai. My God, Wang Kai is really too strong. As they walked on the streets of the capital of massacres, the Soul Masters saw Wang Kai and the head that was still dripping with blood. They all scattered in all directions and took the initiative to make way for Wang Kai. No one dared to get close to Wang Kai, and no one dared to provoke him. Instead, they discussed softly on both sides of the road. Many Soul Masters looked at Wang Kai with admiration and envy. Kai Kuen's lackeys, your master is already dead. Come out obediently, and I'll give you a quick death. Tens of minutes later, Wang Kai brought Kai Kuen's head to the third palace. He shouted coldly, and threw Kai Kuen's head into the third palace. Is that Wang Kai? How is that possible? Don't tell me. Master is dead? That's impossible. Master is a rank 82 Soul Doloa. After hearing Wang Kai's words, Kai Kuen's 6 servants in the third palace turned pale. Their bodies trembled, and they started to discuss among themselves. Gudong, just as Kai Kuen's servants were bewildered, a round object fell from the sky. After that, it crashed onto the ground and exploded. Red and white matter splattered everywhere. Now, seeing the ball-shaped object flying over, Kai Kuen's servants knew that things were bad. One of Kai Kuen's braver servants stepped forward and flipped the ball-shaped object over. Immediately, Kai Kuen's face was revealed. It was a mess of flesh and blood, and one could barely make out the shape of a human's face. Master. Master is really dead. Yes, Master is dead. Now that Wong Kai is outside, what should we do? It's too scary. I don't want to die. Seeing Kai Kuen's dead body, his 6 servants felt chills down their spines. Their bodies trembled uncontrollably, and they couldn't move at all. One of the more timid servants even felt his lower body heat up, and a fishy smell wafted over. He was so scared that he peed his pants. Clang! Just as Kai Kuen's servants were discussing among themselves, the door of the 3rd palace was knocked open by Wong Kai. Immediately after, Wong Kai walked in with a 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand and a terrifying posture, as if he was possessed by Emperor Shura. Sir, please don't kill me. This was all Kai Kuen's idea. I was also forced by his threats to provoke Sir. Yes, please don't hold grudges against us. We know our mistakes. We're willing to turn over a new leaf and work like a horse for you. Please spare our lives. Sir Wong Kai, I am also willing to be your servant. Please don't kill me. These soul cultivators were willing to be Kai Kuen's servants, but none of them had any backbone. Now that Kai Kuen was killed by Wong Kai's heavenly might, they all knelt down in front of Wong Kai and expressed their loyalty to him. At the same time, they also belittled Kai Kuen. Be my servant? That's not impossible. How about this? I will give you a chance. As long as you promise me one thing, I will let you be my servant. The corner of Wong Kai's mouth curled up slightly as he spoke with a smile. Thank you for not killing us, sir. If you have any requests, please tell us. Even if we have to go through water and tread on fire, we will definitely do it for you. Hearing Wong Kai's words, the Soul Master's eyes were filled with ecstasy. They then kowtowed and used words to express their loyalty. Not bad. Very obedient. Actually, what I want you to do is very simple. That is, go to hell. Facing Kai Kuen's spineless, opportunistic, and disloyal servants, Wong Kai didn't have the slightest intention of accepting them. Compared to accepting trash and traitors like this, Wong Kai was more willing to accept their experience. Therefore, he coldly shouted and circulated his soul force, waving the 9 heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand. Kai Kuen's servants were not weak. If they attacked together, they might be able to survive a few moves from Wong Kai. However, when they saw how Wong Kai killed Kai Kuen, they were all scared out of their wits. Not a single one of them dared to make a move against Wong Kai. When they heard Wong Kai's words, they relaxed their vigilance. With a single slash, Kai Kuen's 6 subordinates were all cut in half. Killed 6 high-level soul emperors. Obtained plus 2,020 experience, plus 20 points, plus 2,000 experience. Additional reward for the City of Massacre. Obtained plus 18,180 experience. The upper bodies of Kai Kuen's servants fell heavily to the ground. Blood and organs flowed out, while their lower bodies fell limply to the ground. The 2 halves of their bodies twitched a few times before they quickly died. At the same time, a system notification sounded in Wong Kai's ears. Not bad. 20,000 experience. Then, I'll go and upgrade Shura's dragon-slaying spear and the monarch armor's soul skills to increase my strength. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Wong Kai summoned the servants in charge of the 3rd palace and had them clean up the corpses and blood on the ground. After killing Kai Kuen, the 3rd palace successfully belonged to Wong Kai. Thus, he walked into the 3rd palace's bathhouse and took a bath. Then, with a thought, he entered the small plane. Chapter 303. Daddy, you're here. Mo Shu revealed a look of joy when she sensed Wong Kai's aura. Then, she skipped over to Wong Kai and warmly welcomed Wong Kai. Yes, I'll come in to cultivate for a while. Don't disturb me. Let's play some interesting games after I'm done cultivating. All right? Wong Kai gently rubbed Mo Shu's silky, smooth black hair, then bent down and kissed her on the cheek. Then, he said, Don't worry, Mo Shu. I know. Daddy, you're going to cultivate. I won't disturb you. Mo Shu nodded when she heard Wong Kai's words. Then, she left with a look of anticipation in her eyes. Very good. Then, let's evolve my Shura's dragon-slaying spear now. After greeting Mo Shu, Wang Kai walked over to the planar furnace in the center of the small plane. He sat cross-legged, held his breath, and cleared his mind. Then, he entered a state of cultivation and summoned his first martial soul, Emperor Shura. Immediately after, he thought of something and took out a soul ring cleansing stone from his system. The soul ring cleansing stone was a divine item that could remove a soul master's soul ring and allow them to add a new soul ring. On the Doloa continent, once a soul master obtained a soul ring, it was almost impossible to change it unless a god intervened. This showed how precious and magical the soul ring cleansing stone was. Wang Kai didn't have to use the soul ring cleansing stone. Instead, he could use the soul ring sublimation stone to upgrade Shura's dragon-slaying spear's corresponding soul ring. However, Shura's dragon-slaying spear's soul ring only came from a 30,000-year berserk explosive ape king. This soul beast wasn't a special breed. Its strength was average, and it didn't have much evolutionary potential. Therefore, instead of directly upgrading his third soul ring to a 100,000-year soul ring, Wang Kai chose to use the soul ring cleansing stone to remove the berserk explosive ape king's third soul ring. Then, he would use the adaptive 100,000-year soul ring to obtain a soul ring that was more suitable for him and had greater evolutionary potential. This would be more beneficial to his future development. Wang Kai took out the soul ring cleansing stone. It was a blue stone, and there wasn't anything special about it. Then, he held it tightly in his hand and crushed it. In the next moment, balls of blue mist drifted out from the soul ring cleansing stone. The mist curled up and enveloped Wang Kai's body. Then, the icy mist entered Wang Kai's body through his pores and circulated in his meridians. Cold. After being enveloped by the blue fog, Wang Kai immediately felt a bone-piercing chill. Streaks of icicle-like cold power surged into Wang Kai's body from his skin and traveled through Wang Kai's veins. The frightening chill seeped into every corner of Wang Kai's body and into every bone. Even Wang Kai's mind became slightly sluggish because of this chill. Faced with such a bone-piercing chill, Wang Kai naturally wouldn't sit and wait. As he used Emperor Shura's sixth soul skill, Shura's Devil Flames, to heat himself up, Wang Kai activated his soul power to protect his veins and internal organs. At the same time, he focused on resisting this chill. Half an hour later, the bone-piercing chill slowly receded. Wang Kai slowly stood up and tried to release his soul ring. His original third soul ring had disappeared, and there was an obvious gap between Wang Kai's second and fourth soul rings. It was very strange. Now, it's time to fuse with a new soul ring and let Shura's dragon-killing spear evolve. After confirming that his third soul ring had disappeared, Wang Kai nodded and prepared for the next step. Little Light, exchange for a 100,000-year adaptive soul ring. With a thought, Wang Kai gave Little Light an order. Exchange for a slavery collar requires 1 million points, 100 origin points. Master now has 2,705 origin points. Do you want to exchange? After hearing Wang Kai's order, Little Light's cold voice sounded in Wang Kai's mind. Of course. Following Wang Kai's words, 100 origin points disappeared from Wang Kai's account, and a rainbow-colored crystal appeared in Wang Kai's hand. Evolve, Shura's dragon-killing spear. With a look of excitement in his eyes, Wang Kai exerted a little force with his right hand and crushed the adaptive 100,000-year soul ring in his hand. Immediately, a rainbow-colored fog surged out from the shattered crystal. Dense multicolored light and spiritual energy surged, enveloping Wang Kai's entire body. Wang Kai was already very familiar with this process. After his body had been strengthened many times, the pressure from using the adaptive 100,000-year soul ring could no longer affect Wang Kai at all. 2 hours later, the rainbow-colored fog around Wang Kai slowly dissipated, and Wang Kai had basically completed his refinement. At this moment, waves of incomparably pure, evolutionary power surged out once again. After using the soul ring cleansing stone to remove his third soul ring, Wang Kai's physical attributes and total soul power had been weakened by about 1%. At this moment, He was bathed in the sea of evolutionary power, and Wang Kai's body was also crazily absorbing the evolutionary power to evolve. Very quickly, it made up for the weakening from before and continued to increase Wang Kai's physical attributes in all aspects. Another 10 minutes passed, and the evolutionary power had slowly faded away. All of Wang Kai's attributes had reached a new level. Compared to before, his physical attributes, total soul power purity, and other attributes had all increased by about 5%. His strength had also become stronger. Ding! Congratulations on refining an adaptive 100,000-year soul ring. Emperor Shura's third soul skill, Shura's dragon-killing spear, has evolved. Evolved soul skill, Shura's god-killing spear. Following the completion of the refinement, Wang Kai's ears rang with a system notification. Shura's god-killing spear. What a domineering name. In that case, let me see how strong you are. After hearing the system notification, Wang Kai nodded in satisfaction. After that, he crazily activated his soul power, and the third red soul ring behind him started to shine. Streaks of golden light started to gather around Wang Kai, and the runes on Emperor Shura's martial soul started to flicker. After that, this mysterious golden energy started to gather in the air. Finally, a 2.5-meter-long spear appeared in Emperor Shura's right hand, flashing with dazzling golden light. There were many mysterious runes engraved on the spear shaft, and it was extremely sharp. So cool. Seeing this evolved spear, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with joy. After that, he gently waved his right hand, and the golden Shura's god-killing spear in Emperor Shura's hand crossed space and appeared in Wang Kai's hand. Chapter 304. As he held the Shura's god-slaying spear, Wang Kai unleashed a set of his everlasting blood spear technique to test the strength of the Shura's god-slaying spear. After witnessing the strength of the Shura's god-slaying spear, he revealed a satisfied smile. For the 30,000-year Shura's dragon-slaying spear, its strength could help Wang Kai become invincible among those of the same rank. However, it would become a burden for Wang Kai if he faced a soul sage, soul Delaw, or even a titled Delaw. After all, the Shura's dragon-slaying spear was only a soul skill formed from a 30,000-year soul ring. Compared to the true body of a soul sage or above, its strength and toughness were still lacking. Right now, the Shura's dragon-slaying spear had successfully evolved into the Shura's god-slaying spear. Its age had also successfully increased from 30,000 years to 100,000 years. Although the soul power required to release and maintain the god-slaying spear was close to 10 times greater than before, its strength had also increased by a lot. It was once again a powerful aid to Wang Kai. As for the increased soul power consumption, Wang Kai's soul power was several dozen times greater than that of a soul master of the same rank. In addition, he had the power of the earth and his yin-yang body. The soul power consumption of Ashura's god-slaying spear wasn't much of a burden to Wang Kai. At the same time, the Nine Heavens' soul-destroying sword could slice the Shura's dragon-slaying spear in half before it evolved. After it evolved, Wang Kai also tried to use the Nine Heavens' soul-destroying sword to attack the Shura's god-slaying spear. In the end, he only left a shallow white mark on the shaft of the god-slaying spear after he slashed it a few times. Furthermore, he could recover from it as long as he circulated his soul power. At the same time, the sharpness of the Shura's god-slaying spear was also much greater than that of the Shura's dragon-slaying spear. Regarding this, Wang Kai also used some soul beast corpses from small plains to test it out. He was very satisfied with the results. As for the explosive power of Shura's god-slaying spear, Wang Kai had not tested it yet. It was very clear that he wouldn't test this soul skill in a small plane. If something went wrong, he wouldn't be able to cry to anyone. Wang Kai didn't dare to act recklessly in the capital of Massacre because the king of Massacre was there. It seemed like he would have to wait until the next time he went to the blood-weeping forest to find out about the explosive power of Shura's dragon-slaying spear. Not only that, but after the evolution, Shura's Godslayer spear also gained 2 new characteristics: the Spear of Battle and the Godslayer. For the Spear of Battle, after Wang Kai killed an enemy, Shura's God-slaying spear could absorb the enemy's strength to maintain its own existence and reduce Wang Kai's consumption of soul power. If Shura's God-slaying spear killed an enemy that was at least a soul sage or a 10,000-year soul beast, the strength absorbed by Shura's God-slaying spear could be used to evolve itself and increase the age and abilities of its soul rings. For the Godslayer, Shura's God-slaying spear could be bestowed with a special effect against gods. The damage dealt to creatures and living beings with divinity would be increased by 200%. Although Wang Kai couldn't use it for now, it was still very heaven-defying. After evolving Shura's dragon-slaying spear into Shura's god-slaying spear, Wang Kai was very satisfied and happy. For the next step, he was prepared to evolve Emperor Shura's fourth soul skill, Shura's monarch armor. With a thought, the Shura's god-slaying spear in Wang Kai's hand turned into specks of golden light and was absorbed by Wang Kai into his body. After this, Wang Kai retrieved another soul ring cleansing stone from the system and crushed it. The soul ring for Wang Kai's fourth soul skill, Shura's monarch armor, came from the 60,000-year black lava emperor snake. Compared to the 30,000-year berserk ape king, the black lava emperor snake's cultivation and evolution potential were much stronger. However, compared to the adaptive soul ring provided by the system, the black lava emperor snake still had its flaws. It couldn't allow Wang Kai to evolve perfectly. Therefore, for the sake of his own future, Wang Kai was still prepared to get rid of it. Blue fog surrounded him, and the bone-piercing chill attacked him once again. With his previous experience, Wang Kai was prepared this time. He channeled his soul power and soul skills to resist the chill. Another half an hour passed, and the chill receded. When he opened his eyes again, Wang Kai's fourth soul ring, Emperor Shura, had disappeared. He had also spent another 100 origin experience to exchange for a 100,000-year adaptive soul ring. After crushing the soul ring, Wang Kai started to refine it again. He guided the mysterious seven-colored power to circulate in his tendons and passageways. Following this, the power of evolution surged in Wang Kai's body, causing all of Wang Kai's attributes and abilities to rise to a whole new level. Ding! Congratulations on refining an adaptive 100,000-year soul ring. Emperor Shura's fourth soul skill, Shura's monarch armor, has evolved. Evolved soul skill, Emperor Shura's armor. 2 hours passed, and the refinement was completed. A notification from a system appeared in Wang Kai's mind once again. Emperor Shura's armor. What a domineering name. Let me see how strong you are. With a thought, Wang Kai channeled his soul power and transferred it to his fourth soul ring. Following this, Wang Kai's fourth soul ring flashed. In the next moment, streaks of dense blood-colored murderous aura appeared out of thin air. They gathered around Wang Kai's body crazily. Following this, an awe-inspiring, handsome, and ferocious blood-golden armor appeared on the surface of Wang Kai's body. Compared to Shura's Emperor armor, Shura's Emperor armor was more intricate. Its outer appearance was also more eye-catching. In the middle of the armor, the original blood-colored king word had been replaced by a blood-golden emperor word. It revealed boundless murderous aura and heroic spirit. Around Shura's Emperor armor, the original 3 blood-red shields had also evolved. They had turned from blood-red to blood-golden, and there were many complicated runes on them. The shields had also turned from 3 to a roof. They slowly revolved around Wang Kai's body. They shone brightly and looked very heroic. As for the defensive strength of Shura's Emperor armor, it had also been greatly strengthened. Compared to Shura's Emperor armor, Shura's Emperor armor's defensive strength had been increased by at least 3 times. After using it, Wang Kai could ignore the attacks of ordinary Soul Emperors. Even if a Soul Sage attacked, Shura's Emperor armor could reduce the strength of the attack by at least 50%. After evolving, Shura's Emperor armor's bonuses to Wang Kai's attributes had also increased. Shura's Emperor armor could increase Wang Kai's strength, defense, and speed by 30%. After evolving, Shura's Emperor armor could increase all of Wang Kai's attributes, including soul power, by 50%. At the same time, it had a new halo effect. This halo was called Hero's Entrance. After activating Hero's Entrance, Wang Kai's allies would be encouraged. Their courage would increase greatly, and their strength, soul power, defense, and speed would increase by 10%. Wang Kai's enemies would be suppressed, and their attributes would decrease by 10%. Their morale would also be affected. They would be fearful and wouldn't dare to fight to the death. Chapter 305. That's great. No wonder it's a soul skill provided by the system's adaptive soul ring. It's indeed very powerful. Wang Kai's eyes flashed with joy as he personally experienced the various powers of Shura's Emperor armor. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly. Evidently, he was very satisfied with Shura's Emperor armor after its evolution. After experiencing the powers of Shura's Emperor armor, Wang Kai didn't forget to take out the Nine Heavens soul-destroying sword. He personally tested the defensive capabilities of Shura's Emperor armor. Before its evolution, Shura's Emperor armor's defensive capabilities were not bad. However, if the Nine Heavens soul-destroying sword attacked the same spot several times, its defenses would still be broken. However, after its evolution, Shura's Emperor armor's defensive capabilities had increased tremendously. Just the sharpness of the Nine Heavens soul-destroying sword, and without the additional skills of the Nine Heavens soul-destroying sword, it was very difficult to threaten Shura's Emperor armor. Finally, let me get rid of the last soul ring of the Chaotic Mountain and River Cauldron. When Wang Kai had just become a Soul Emperor, he didn't add a 6th soul ring to the Chaotic Mountain and River Cauldron because he didn't have a lot of origin points. After entering Massacre City, Wang Kai obtained a huge amount of origin points through killing. Therefore, Wang Kai decided to fuse a 6th soul ring for the Chaotic Mountain and River Cauldron to fill this gap. After exchanging another 100,000-year soul ring from the system store, Wang Kai's origin points decreased by 100 points, returning to 2,405 points. However, Wang Kai didn't immediately refine this 100,000-year soul ring. After such a long battle, cleansing and fusing 2 new soul rings, Wang Kai's spirit was a little fatigued again. Right now, he needed a little rest to relieve the fatigue in his spirit. Only then could he complete a perfect fusion and not waste the effects of the adaptive 100,000-year soul ring. Mo Shu, come over quickly. I have time now. Let me play a game with you. After stopping his cultivation, Wang Kai stood up and called out to Mo Shu beside him. Yes, Daddy, I'm here. After hearing Wang Kai calling for her, Mo Shu, who was refining the blood crystal, hurriedly stopped refining. After that, she jogged over to Wang Kai and answered with a clear voice. She lifted her cute little head and looked at Wang Kai with anticipation. Oh, Mo Shu is so obedient. Daddy loves Mo Shu is the most. Wang Kai couldn't help but extend his large hand as he looked at the extremely adorable sorceress. He gently pinched her fair and delicate face that was slightly flushed due to nervousness. The skin where he touched was as smooth and soft as silk. It felt extremely good to the touch. Thank you, Daddy. Mo Shu loves Daddy the most, too. After hearing Wang Kai's words, Mo Shu's eyes were filled with joy. Looking at Mo Shu's pure and beautiful appearance, Wang Kai also left a light kiss on her forehead. Smelling the unique, slightly wild, and very pleasant fragrance from Mo Shu's body, Wang Kai only felt the fatigue in his spirit dissipating a little. Let's begin then. As he spoke, Wang Kai also helped Mo Shu undress. Then, he lowered his body and played a wonderful game with Mo Shu. After a few hours, Wang Kai and Mo Shu's game finally ended. After the exciting and interesting game process, Wang Kai's spirit was fully relaxed. Mo Shu's legs were still trembling, but her face was brimming with an excited smile. It was obvious that she enjoyed the game process. With a glowing face, Wang Kai also returned to the side of the dimensional furnace. Then he took out the adaptive 100,000-year soul ring that he had just exchanged and crushed it. A rainbow-colored fog shrouded Wang Kai's body, and Wang Kai did the same and fused with this soul ring. 2 hours later, the refining process was over, and Wang Kai's physical fitness had also improved again under the power of evolution. Compared to before he refined these 3 soul rings, Wang Kai's overall attributes had increased by about 10%, which could be said to be very good. Ding! Your second martial soul, Chaotic Mountain River Cauldron, has successfully fused with your 6th soul ring. Congratulations on comprehending new soul skills: Mountain River Trapping Formation and Mountain River Killing Formation. Mountain River Trapping Formation and Mountain River Killing Formation? Let me see how effective you are. With a thought, Wang Kai entered his attribute panel and checked the effects of the 2 soul skills that he had just obtained. After activating the Mountain River Trapping Formation, Wang Kai could activate the mountains and rivers on the surface of the Chaotic Mountain River Cauldron and materialize them. He could also form a special trapping formation between them. Enemies within the range of the formation would be confused and trapped behind the Mountain River Trapping Formation. At the same time, their attributes would be suppressed. As for the consumption of the Mountain River Trapping Formation, it was related to the size of the Mountain River Trapping Formation. If he wanted to form the Mountain River Trapping Formation, he had to materialize mountains and rivers with a diameter of at least 100 meters. About 10% of Wang Kai's soul power would be drained every minute. Wang Kai could unleash the Mountain River Trapping Formation with a range of about 500 meters, but couldn't be maintained for too long. Similar to the Mountain River Trapping Formation, the Mountain River Killing Formation also materialized the mountains and rivers on the Chaotic Mountain River Cauldron. However, the purpose of the Mountain River Killing Formation wasn't to trap enemies, but to kill them. It could continuously attack enemies who were trapped in the Mountain River Killing Formation, and it was so strong that even mid-level soul sages could be killed if they entered it. Of course, even though the Mountainous River Slaughtering Formation was stronger, it also consumed more energy than the Mountainous River Trapping Formation. Wang Kai was rather satisfied with these 2 soul skills. Even though they seemed a little useless at the moment, he would probably need them in the future. After refining the soul ring, Wang Kai started to cultivate the Great Arcane Star's Heavenly Suppressing Soul Refining Divine technique again. While the experience gained from one cultivation wasn't as much as killing, it could continuously purify Wang Kai's soul power and strengthen his spiritual power. At the same time, it could also lay the foundation for the 9th level of the technique. It was a very necessary activity. After he finished cultivating the Great Arcane Star's Heavenly Suppressing Soul Refining Divine technique, Wang Kai took out the high-grade blood crystal that he had obtained earlier and started to refine it. As Wang Kai refined it, streaks of blood energy surged out from the blood crystal and fused with Wang Kai's aura. The killing intent around Wang Kai became thicker and thicker. After a period of time, the blood crystal in Wang Kai's hand faded, and it became a black stone without any luster. Wang Kai's killing intent also increased a lot as he refined it. Wang Kai exerted a little force, and the blood crystal in his hand turned into black powder and exploded. Wang Kai left the small plane and went to sign up for the next Hell Slaughtering Tournament. Chapter 306. In the blink of an eye, another month had passed. At this time, Wang Kai had obtained another 10 victories in the slaughter fields. His total number of victories had reached 27, and he had entered the top 20 of the slaughter fields. Of course, all the soul masters in the slaughter fields knew that Wang Kai's strength was far greater than this. After all, Wang Kai had killed the Yin-Yang man Kai Kuan, who was ranked 5th in the slaughter fields. Kai Kuan had even defeated the 3rd in the slaughter fields, Sun Lei. However, Wang Kai's enemies didn't show any obvious increase in rank. On the contrary, Wang Kai would still encounter some lower-ranked enemies with fewer victories. This was naturally due to the rules of the slaughter fields. Either all 10 competitors had won within 10 battles, or one of them had won 5 more battles than the other 9. As Wang Kai's victories increased, the rules applied to him were the latter. Because of the decrease in rank of his enemies, the experience that Wang Kai gained from each battle decreased. It was basically maintained at around 20,000. However, after a month of fighting, killing, and cultivation, Wang Kai had successfully broken through and become a rank 67 Soul Emperor. He had successfully entered the ranks of high-level Soul Emperors. As for Wang Kai's fighting strength, all of his stats would increase by around 10% with every increase in rank. However, Wang Kai's Emperor Shura's bloodline power was also unleashed through battle after battle. Therefore, the increase in his fighting strength was far greater than 10%. Finally, Wang Kai welcomed his 20th battle. Under the instructions of the referee, the 10 competitors entered the arena. However, this time, Wang Kai's opponents weren't all small fries. Instead, there was a powerhouse. He was ranked 6th in the Slaughterfield's rankings. Rank 81 Soul Daw Chun Chun, nicknamed Skull Crusher. It's Skull Crusher Chun Chun and Sword Demon Wang Kai. We're so lucky to actually be able to witness the confrontation between these two peerless experts. Looking at the contestants on the stage, the spectators in the infernal slaughterhouse discussed animatedly. Their eyes flickered with excitement. They could not wait to watch the battle between Wang Kai and Chun Chunza against the two experts. Unlike the enthusiastic audience, the other 8 contestants in the ring were in low spirits. Some of them were even trembling slightly and could not stand steadily. When they saw the two big shots, Wang Kai and Chun Chun, these 8 contestants already knew their fate. Unless Chun Chun and Wang Kai fought to the point where both sides were injured, they would definitely die. Release your martial spirit and prepare for battle. Seeing that the 10 competitors had stepped onto the stage and were ready, the referee in black armor coldly announced. After which, he left the stage. Emperor Shura's possession. 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. Activating his soul force, Wang Kai's body was covered in blood-black Shura's scales. The 9 Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword in his hand faced the wind. On the other side, Chun Chun was also crazily activating his soul force. Glorious Octagonal Hammer. A burst of colorful light condensed in front of Chun Chun. Following that, a hammer with a 2-meter-long handle and a half-meter-long head appeared in Chun Chun's hands. With the appearance of the hammer, Chun Chun's aura suddenly soared. His muscles swelled, and he looked very mighty and majestic. From the words of the people who had provoked him 2 months ago, Wang Kai knew that Chun Chun's martial spirit was called the Glorious Octagonal Hammer. It weighed 400 kilograms. The origin of Chun Chun's nickname, Skull Crusher, was that every person who went against Chun Chun was smashed alive by his glorious octagonal hammer. Wang Kai, I don't know how you killed Kai Kuan, but Chun Chun, am definitely not afraid of you. For the sake of a quieter environment for our battle, let's get rid of these ants first. What do you think? His bell-like eyes stared straight at Wang Kai, and Chun Chun's voice rang out like a bell. All right, let's each take down 4. Looking at Chun Chun, Wang Kai smiled and agreed. If Chun Chun joined forces with the other 8 competitors to attack him, Wang Kai would be affected to a certain extent. Seeing that Chun Chun didn't have such thoughts, Wang Kai was pleasantly surprised. All right. After hearing Wang Kai's words, Chun Chun revealed a cruel smile. After that, he suddenly tapped the ground with the tip of his foot. Bang! Chun Chun's right foot tapped the ground, and his body turned into an afterimage as he disappeared from his original spot. Although Chun Chun's body was huge, his speed wasn't weak. In a few flashes, he was already beside his Soul King. He raised his glorious octagonal hammer high up and smashed it down fiercely. Bang! In the next moment, Chun Chun's hammer, which contained a terrifying amount of energy, had already smashed into the Soul King's head. Immediately, the Soul King's head exploded like a watermelon. Red and white brain matter splattered all over the ground, and his body fell limply to the ground. After that, Chun Chun looked at Wang Kai with a provocative look in his eyes. It seems like I have to work harder too. Seeing the provocative look in Chun Chun's eyes, Wang Kai smiled. After that, he activated his movement technique, and his body turned into a black line as he advanced towards his first opponent. In the next moment, Wang Kai's figure flashed behind a competitor like a ghost. After that, He waved the nine heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand and controlled its boundless power to slash at his opponent's body. No. Feeling a chill behind his back, this competitor didn't even have time to react before his body was split into two by Wang Kai's sword. His corpse fell limply to the ground, and Wang Kai heard a notification from a system. Continue. Almost at the same time, Wang Kai and Chun Chun attacked again and ran towards their next target. Seeing this scene, the remaining 6 competitors felt a chill run down their spines. Their bodies couldn't help but tremble, but it was to no avail. They were all killed by Wang Kai and Chun Chun. Killed 4 Soul Kings and Soul Emperors. Obtained plus 950 experience, plus 9 origin points, plus 5,000 points. Additional reward for the City of Massacre mission, plus 8,550 origin points. 2 system notifications sounded in Wang Kai's mind, and Wang Kai raised his head to look at Chun Chun. At this moment, Chun Chun also raised his head, which looked extremely ferocious, and looked at Wang Kai with an ominous gaze. Since those annoying little ants are already dead, then let's start the battle to the death. After saying that, Chun Chun circulated his soul power, and his body accelerated as he charged towards Wang Kai. Good. Today, I'll give you a quick death. Take this. Seeing Wang Kai charging towards him, Wang Kai's eyes revealed a look of excitement. His body exploded as he charged towards Chun Chun. Chapter 307. There was a serious look in Wang Kai's eyes as he watched Chun Chun run towards him. His body also tensed up slightly. Even though Wang Kai had killed Zhang Hui with ease, Wang Kai had used a soul skill at that time. Whether or not a soul skill could be used made a huge difference in a soul master's fighting strength. It wasn't convenient for Wang Kai to use soul skills recklessly in the capital of Massacre. If he didn't use soul skills, a soul Doloa like Chun Chun was different from a soul sage. Wang Kai had to be more careful to deal with him. Their figures flashed. In the next instant, Wang Kai and Chun Chun's figures clashed in the air. There was a serious look in Chun Chun's eyes as he stared at Wang Kai. He exerted strength in his hands and raised the glorious octagonal hammer above his head. After that, he swung it down towards Wang Kai's head. Whoosh! Under Chun Chun's control, the 400-kilogram glorious octagonal hammer turned into a black shadow. There was an ear-piercing sound as it tore through the air. It was very fast and very powerful. Good timing. Break for me. Wang Kai's expression was also very serious as he stared at the hammer that was falling from the sky. He crazily circulated his soul power. Wang Kai also used all his strength to swing the Nine Heavens soul-destroying sword. Under Wang Kai's immense strength, the Nine Heavens soul-destroying sword turned into a blood-red shadow that smashed towards Chun Chun's glorious octagonal hammer. Bang! The 2 weapons, each containing a terrifying amount of energy, violently collided in the air in the next instant. Immediately, the crisp sound of metal clashing reverberated outwards from the point of contact. As the sound wave was emitted, a ferocious energy force also surged out from between the Nine Heavens soul-destruction sword and the brilliant world octagonal hammer. At this very moment, the hard ground under Wang Kai and Chun Chun's feet had also been quietly shaken to form many tiny cracks. From this, one could see just how powerful the impact of the collision between the two was. Clenching the Nine Heavens soul-extinguishing sword in his hand, Wang Kai was forced to take half a step back during this ferocious collision. His internal organs also felt a slight tremor. On the other hand, Chun Chun was forced to take 3 steps back before he managed to stabilize his body with great difficulty. His face was also slightly pale. Ow, how is this possible? Your strength is actually greater than mine. Looking at Wang Kai, Chun Chun's eyes flashed with disbelief. Although Chun Chun had been defeated by Kai Kuan in the past, he was confident that he was much stronger than Kai Kuan in terms of absolute strength. But now, Chun Chun was defeated by Wang Kai in the field that he was best at. His eyes flashed with disbelief. What's impossible? The truth is very simple. It's just that you're too weak, and I'm too strong. After the previous exchange, Wang Kai had already figured out Chun Chun's strength. Looking at Chun Chun's shocked expression, Wang Kai curled his lips and smiled disdainfully. Then, he picked up the Nine Heavens Soul extinguishing sword again and exerted force in his legs. Wang Kai stomped his feet on the ground, and a loud explosion of energy rang out. Wang Kai's body seemed to have turned into a black arrow as he shot towards Chun Chun. His speed was so fast that the surrounding spectators couldn't help but cry out in surprise. The place where Wang Kai's feet left the ground also caved in due to Wang Kai's tremendous strength. Don't underestimate me. Looking at Wang Kai's disdainful eyes and sensing Wang Kai's ferocious speed, Chun Chun's face became extremely gloomy. However, he had no other choice but to exert force and swing the brilliant octagonal hammer in his hand. Then, he violently smashed it in the direction of Wang Kai's attack. As Chun Chun swung his hammer, a ferocious wind suddenly erupted in front of him. It was accompanied by an ear-piercing sound as it viciously smashed towards the Nine Heavens Soul extinguishing sword in Wang Kai's hand. Bang! Another muffled sound was heard. Chun Chun's absolute strength was not as good as Wang Kai's. Similarly, his skill in using his strength was not as good as Wang Kai's. Therefore, under Wang Kai's attack, Chun Chun's voice was once again sent flying. His arms were slightly numb, and the skin between his thumb and forefinger suddenly cracked due to the great impact. Again, go to hell. Having succeeded in one attack, Wang Kai did not give Chun Chun any chance to catch his breath. Taking advantage of his weakness, Wang Kai's figure flashed, and the Nine Heavens Soul extinguishing sword in his hand danced and went straight for Chun Chun. Sword shadows and hammer shadows crisscrossed in the air. Wang Kai's figure and Chun Chun's figure also fought back and forth in the hell-killing field. Sparks of gold and iron clashed. Violent sounds and violent energy fluctuations were also emitted from the center of the two's fight and burst out in all directions. In the blink of an eye, Wang Kai and Chun Chun had fought for more than 30 rounds. Chun Chun could only withstand Wang Kai's sword in the beginning. As the battle progressed, Wang Kai became more and more courageous. His sword was faster and stronger than the previous one. On the other hand, Chun Chun's arms were already numb from the terrifying impact of the brilliant world octagonal hammer. If it were not for his will to live, he would not have been able to hold on for so long. At this time, Chun Chun's back was dripping with sweat. The webbing between his thumb and forefinger was already cracked. Fresh blood stained his palms bright red, and there was also blood faintly flowing out from the corner of his mouth. It's over. Wang Kai suddenly activated his soul power and swung the Nine Heavens Soul extinguishing sword again. A terrifying sword aura was released and slashed toward Chun Chun's head. No, it's not over yet. Wang Kai, you forced me to do this. Seeing Wang Kai's terrifying sword, Chun Chun knew that he was no match for it. However, Chun Chun was not someone who would sit and wait for death. Seeing Wang Kai's sword, Chun Chun's eyes flashed with a hint of desperation. Burning blood soul explosion. Chun Chun roared angrily. His body suddenly turned red. His muscles violently bulged, and the blood vessels in his body could be seen clearly. His eyes were filled with a blood-red color, and his body was enveloped in a layer of blood. After doing all this, Chun Chun swung the giant hammer in his hand again to meet Wang Kai's sword. After using the burning blood soul explosion, burning his life force, and stimulating his body's potential, Chun Chun's strength increased by 50%. His speed, defense, and soul power were also greatly enhanced. Because of this, Chun Chun did not fall into a disadvantage in front of Wang Kai. Like Wang Kai, he took half a step back. Go to hell. After unleashing the burning blood and soul explosion technique, Chun Chun's mind was also affected to a certain extent. His speech was a little slurred, but his consciousness was still basically clear. The terrifying spiritual power that originated from his soul allowed him to control his body, which was surging with blood and energy. After that, he swung his giant hammer and smashed it down on Wang Kai. Looking at Chun Chun, Wang Kai revealed a look of excitement. Such a head-on battle made Wang Kai feel very comfortable. The ancient bloodline power that originated from Emperor Shura was continuously activated. His fighting instincts and battle awareness were constantly making breakthroughs, and Wang Kai's strength was continuously increasing. Chapter 308. No, how is this possible? Although he had used the burning blood soul explosion technique, Chun Chun's strength was barely on par with Wang Kai's. However, as time passed, the effects of the burning blood soul explosion technique began to decrease. On the other hand, Wang Kai became fiercer and fiercer as the battle progressed. After exchanging tens of blows with Wang Kai, Chun Chun's life force was no longer enough to support the burning blood soul explosion technique. He collapsed to the ground powerlessly because of the backlash. It's really over now. With a sinister smile, Wang Kai coldly looked at Chun Chun, who had been greatly weakened because of the backlash from the burning blood soul explosion technique. After that, he viciously waved the Nine Heavens soul extinguishing sword in his hand. With the weight of Mount Tai, he directly slashed at Chun Chun's head. No! Seeing the Nine Heavens soul extinguishing sword grow larger and larger in his eyes, Chun Chun's eyes flashed with fear. Traces of coldness quickly surged in his heart, and his body trembled uncontrollably. He was completely dominated by the fear of death. However, Chun Chun was already powerless to resist. The burning blood soul explosion technique had already exhausted a large amount of Chun Chun's life force, and a violent strength had also destroyed Chun Chun's tendons and muscles. Right now, he almost didn't even have the strength to raise his hand, let alone lift the brilliant world octagonal hammer that weighed 400 kilograms. Kacha! A crisp sound rang out. The Nine Heavens soul extinguishing sword in Wang Kai's hand had already cut open Chun Chun's skull. Furthermore, Chun Chun's rough face was split into two. Fresh blood mixed with brain matter flowed out of the wound on Chun Chun's face, and the aura of life quickly disappeared from Chun Chun's eyes. Plop! Plop! With a slight push of his arm, the Nine Heavens soul extinguishing sword had already slashed downwards. Following a muffled sound, Chun Chun's body was split into two along the central axis by Wang Kai. After that, he fell heavily to the side. His organs, intestines, and fresh blood were mixed together and flowed out of the wounds on his body. You've killed a rank 82 Soul Dola. Origin EXP plus 12,800. Origin points plus 129. Additional reward for the City of Massacre mission. Congratulations on obtaining an additional 115,200 experience points. 2 system notifications rang out in Wang Kai's sea of consciousness. Wang Kai's face revealed a trace of satisfaction. Very good. I'm only one step away from becoming a rank 68 Soul Emperor. As expected, fighting with the strong is the only way for me to level up quickly. Looking at his own experience bar, Wang Kai saw that his current experience bar had reached 310,000. The next time he wanted to become a rank 68 Soul Emperor, he would need 400,000 experience. Very soon, Wang Kai would be able to become a rank 68 Soul Emperor. Look, Skull Crusher, Chun Chun is dead. Yes, Sword Demon, Wang Kai's strength is truly terrifying. Looks like after Du Tao and Quan Long, there's another super expert who might be able to challenge for 100 victories in the capital of slaughter. That's right, one exciting match. My blood is boiling as well. Sounds of discussion and cheers rang out from the spectator stands. At this moment, the black-armored referee appeared on stage. He held Wang Kai's right hand and announced Wang Kai's victory. Another month and a half passed. At this time, Wang Kai had already won 39 matches, becoming the 4th strongest person in the Infernal Slaughterhouse. And now, Wang Kai was only 100,000 experience points away from reaching rank 70 and becoming a Soul Sage. Finally, Wang Kai's 40th match was about to begin. Different from the previous matches, Wang Kai's opponent this time was another expert. It was the 2nd strongest person in the Infernal Slaughterhouse, and also the previous second strongest person in the City of Massacre, the rank 85 Soul de la Du Tao. Different from the majority of the Soul Masters in the City of Massacre, Du Tao's body wasn't very muscular. Instead, he was very skinny. However, his muscles were very firm, like fine steel, shining with a luster. Wang Kai, your strength is not bad. It's a pity that you've met me today. Today, your winning streak will be ended by me. Remember, the person who's going to kill you is called Du Tao. Once he stepped onto the stage, Du Tao turned towards Wang Kai and said coldly, That's what I wanted to say to you too. Winning many matches doesn't mean you're strong. Today, your life will be ended by my own hands. Looking at Du Tao, Wang Kai's eyes flickered with fire as he replied indifferently, Participants, release your martial souls. Following the referee's words, Wang Kai used Emperor Shura's possession and summoned the Nine Heavens Soul Extinguishing Sword. On the other side, Du Tao also used his martial soul's possession, Netherworld Windbreaker Eagle possession. As he spoke, a layer of green light emerged from Du Tao's body. As the green light flickered, Du Tao's muscles started to swell. His eyes gradually turned pale green, and his mouth turned into a sharp bird's beak. A pair of wings grew out from his back, and his fingers also became sharp, becoming extremely sharp eagle claws. Begin. Seeing that all the competitors were ready, the referee immediately announced the start of the match. Du Tao, before we start, let's clean up these bugs first, shall we? Looking at Du Tao, Wang Kai said coldly, No problem. Just treat it as a warm-up. Go to hell, trash. After he finished speaking, Du Tao flapped his wings. Following a violent gust of air, Du Tao disappeared, leaving behind several green afterimages. A second later, Du Tao's figure returned to his original position. In the distance, the bodies of the four soul cultivators fell to the ground one after another with a plop-plop sound. A sinister wound appeared where their hearts should have been, and their hearts had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Du Tao was chewing on something in his mouth, and there were traces of blood seeping out from the corner of his mouth. In his sharp claws, there were still 2 thumping hearts. It was clear that Du Tao had already taken out the hearts of the 4 soul cultivators in just a second. His speed was so fast that even Wang Kai was a little shocked. Compared to strength-type, assault-type soul masters like Du Tao, Zhang Hui, and Kai Kuan, a speed-type, agility-type soul master like Du Tao was even more terrifying, especially when he couldn't use his soul skills. Because of this, Wang Kai's gaze towards Du Tao was filled with caution and fear. Wang Kai, it's your turn. I'll give you a total of 3 seconds. As he chewed on the hearts in his mouth, Du Tao said coldly, 3 seconds? You're underestimating me too much. Hearing Du Tao's words, Wang Kai smiled. In the next moment, his figure turned into a black arrow and shot towards the 4 soul masters in the distance. Kacha! 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 In the same second, Wang Kai returned to his original position. At this moment, 4 crisp sounds of necks breaking rang out. 4 fountains of blood spurted out, and 4 large heads flew into the sky. Chapter 309. Not bad. That's what makes you worthy of being my opponent. Du Tao smiled as he looked at the 4 corpses that had collapsed to the ground. Du Tao's body disappeared from where he was just as he finished speaking. He turned into a strange and twisted green shadow that pierced through space and attacked Wang Kai. Du Tao's body was also surrounded by the aura of wind as he reached Wang Kai. He exerted force with his sharp claws and tore at Wang Kai's chest. Du Tao's speed is not bad. Wang Kai was in awe as he watched Du Tao lunge at him. After that, he drew his sword to meet Du Tao's attack. In the next moment, the 9 Heavens soul-vanquishing sword clashed with Du Tao's sharp claws. There was an ear-piercing sound as sparks flew. Both of them took a step back and looked at each other warily. For a powerful soul de law, their martial souls were not weaker than the 9 Heavens soul-vanquishing sword, even if they didn't use their martial soul true body or tool soul true body. Therefore, Wang Kai's 9 Heavens soul-vanquishing sword didn't have a crushing effect on Du Tao. Wang Kai was now a rank 69 Soul Emperor. If he didn't use any soul skills and only used his Emperor Shura, his strength would be comparable to a mid-tier Soul de Law. However, Du Tao was also someone who could fight above his level. His strength wasn't just any ordinary Soul de Law. Instead, he was one of the top Soul de Law. He wasn't on the same level as Kai Kuan and Qinshan. Therefore, his physique was on par with Wang Kai's. As for Du Tao, even though he couldn't see through Wang Kai's rank, he could feel Wang Kai's extremely powerful strength and vigorous soul power when he clashed with Wang Kai once. Honestly speaking, Du Tao's soul power and strength were 10 times weaker than Wang Kai's, and he only had an advantage in speed. Again, Du Tao was extremely cautious as he continued to gather the soul power in his body. His wings slowly flapped behind him. When the soul force in his body became more and more turbulent, Du Tao suddenly let out a low growl. The wings on his back flapped crazily, setting off gusts of wind. His body also shot towards Wang Kai. Brandishing the sharp claws in his hand, he went straight for Wang Kai's heart. So fast, as expected of Eagle Emperor Du Tao. That's right, what a ferocious attack. I can't even see his moves clearly. Seeing Du Tao make his move, the faces of the audience below the stage immediately revealed expressions of admiration and fear. Their gazes towards Du Tao were filled with reverence and fear. Come at me. Although in terms of absolute speed, Wang Kai might be slightly slower than Du Tao, as an existence with the same combat strength as Du Tao, Wang Kai naturally wouldn't be like those spectators who couldn't see Du Tao's movements clearly. With a roar, Wang Kai's feet suddenly stomped on the ground. His body also turned into a black line, charging straight at Du Tao. Crazily urging his soul force, Wang Kai also poured the vigorous soul force and blood energy in his body into his claws. After that, he fiercely exerted strength in his arms. With an ear-piercing sound of breaking wind, he met Du Tao's sharp claws head-on. Ding, ding, dang, dang. The two figures flashed in the Hell slaughterhouse. Following their movements, Wang Kai and Du Tao's sharp claws crazily collided and clashed in the air. Sparks and crisp sounds filled the air. In just a short second, Wang Kai and Du Tao would exchange more than 10 blows. They were so fast that the audience on both sides of the stage could only see a green shadow and a black shadow. You're very strong. Now then, take my strongest move. Windbreaker, Azure, Netherworld, Ripping Claw. Raising his eyebrows, Du Tao's eyes flashed with a fierce light. Countless gusts of wind revolved around his body and instantly formed a frightening shadow of a sharp claw. At this moment, Du Tao's aura soared again. Self-created soul skill? A solemn expression flashed across Wang Kai's eyes as he stared at the sharp claw in front of Du Tao, which contained a frightening amount of energy. All soul skills were prohibited in the slaughterhouse, but Du Tao was able to use such an attack. It was very obvious that this soul skill could only be Du Tao's self-created soul skill. Chapter 3:10. That's right. This is my self-created soul skill, the wind-breaking Azure Netherworld Ripping Claw. Wang Kai, I admit that you're a genius. As such, you should be proud that you can die from this move of mine. Du Tao said coldly as the corners of his mouth curled up. His eyes were cold, and he looked at Wang Kai as if he were looking at a dead man. It's actually the wind-breaking Azure Netherworld Ripping Claw. I heard that Du Tao used this move to tear apart countless powerful individuals in the City of Massacres a few years ago. That was how he secured his position as the second most powerful individual in the City of Massacres. Yes, that sword demon Wang Kai is really strong. He actually forced Du Tao to use that move. What a pity, what a pity. Although Wang Kai is very strong, Du Tao's wind-breaking Azure Netherworld Ripping Claw is very strong. It's enough to kill a Soul de Law who can't use soul skills. Is such a genius going to die so early? As I looked at Du Tao on the Hell Massacre platform, the audience started to discuss among themselves. They looked at Du Tao with admiration and envy. Yes, a self-created soul skill. That was a self-created soul skill. In a place like the City of Massacres, where soul skills couldn't be used, a self-created soul skill was a soul master's strongest trump card. It was a treasure that could allow a soul master to fight above his level. Furthermore, Du Tao was the second most powerful individual in the City of Massacres. As a result, many of the audience looked at Wang Kai with pity and pity. "Ha, go and die." At this moment, Du Tao also shouted coldly. Immediately after, the shadow of the martial soul of the green hellish wind eagle appeared behind him. It was like a celestial demon, exuding a terrifying aura that shook people's hearts. Du Tao's hands moved, and he waved his claws in Wang Kai's direction fiercely. As the projection of the wind-breaking eagle moved, two green energy claws that were 1 meter thick and contained terrifying wind energy appeared in front of Du Tao. They exuded boundless power as they crossed space and swept towards Wang Kai. They were going to tear Wang Kai into pieces. If an ordinary soul master was facing such a terrifying attack, his legs would have turned to jelly and he wouldn't be able to move. However, Wang Kai was different. Even if he didn't use his soul skills, Wang Kai had mastered many powerful self-created soul skills. Not only that, but he also had several soul bones. Therefore, facing Du Tao's attack, Wang Kai didn't panic. Self-created soul skills? Do you think you're the only one with self-created soul skills? I have one too. Wang Kai crazily activated his soul power, blood energy, and Shura's murderous aura. He controlled them to flow in a mysterious pattern as they resonated and fused together. A thick layer of blood-red light enveloped Wang Kai's body as his aura soared at an astonishing speed. Shura's heaven-splitting claw. Wang Kai shouted angrily as his essence, energy, and spirit fused together. Following this, a 10-meter-tall projection of Emperor Shura condensed in front of Wang Kai. It followed Wang Kai's movements and clawed forward. The blood-red murderous aura gathered crazily as two blood-red claws appeared in front of Wang Kai. They carried a terrifying aura that could split heaven and earth apart and destroy everything as they collided with Du Tao's green claws. Heavens, self-created soul skills. It's actually another self-created soul skill. I didn't expect this sword demon to be able to create his own soul skills. Not only is the sword demon unparalleled in sword skills, his claw skills are also heaven-defying. Yes, it's still hard to say who will win this battle. The spectating soul masters were all astonished to see Wang Kai unleash his blood-red claws. They all stared intently at the point where the two terrifying claws clashed in the air. They wanted to see who would emerge victorious. Bang! Following a terrifying explosion, Wang Kai's Shura's heaven-splitting claw collided with Du Tao's azure netherworld-ripping claw. After that, there was an explosion. A terrifying aura surged, and waves of energy waves spread in all directions. Many of the spectators were so frightened that they closed their eyes, afraid that they would be hit by the aftershocks. In midair, the blood-red, murderous aura and the green wind energy were entangled in a frenzy. They collided and annihilated each other. Following this, under the astonished gazes of the spectators, Du Tao's green claws disappeared. Two blood-red claws with a slightly lighter color shot out from the explosion and shot towards Du Tao in the distance. How is this possible? Looking at the blood-red claws that were flying towards him, Du Tao's eyes flashed with disbelief. The smile on his face froze. He didn't expect his self-created soul skill to be so easily broken by Wang Kai. Following this, Du Tao sensed that he had been locked onto by the blood-red claws. Suddenly, a sense of fear surged in Du Tao's heart. In front of the blood-red claws, Du Tao's muscles couldn't help but tremble slightly. It was evident that Wang Kai's attack was very powerful. However, Du Tao was a fierce person who had obtained more than 50 victories in the Earth Fiend Slaughterhouse. Although the strength of Wang Kai's attack made him feel a little shocked and even fearful, he wasn't going to sit and wait for his death. At a time like this, he didn't retreat because he would die if he retreated. As an experienced soul de law, Du Tao knew this very well. Hence, he knew that he had to pour all the soul power in his body into his claws. After that, he gritted his teeth and clashed with Wang Kai's blood-red claws. Boom! Another violent explosion rang out. After approaching Du Tao, Shura's blood-red claws suddenly exploded. A blood-red fog completely enveloped Du Tao's body. The shockwaves from the explosion kept attacking Du Tao's body. At the same time, the murderous energy was also rapidly corroding Du Tao's body. Half a second later, Du Tao's body finally charged out of the bloody fog. At this moment, the originally smooth and streamlined feathers on his body had already been corroded. Several of his claws had been cut off because they had directly taken on the strength of Wang Kai's self-created soul skill. Du Tao's face was also very pale, and he spat out a mouthful of blood that splattered onto the ground. At this moment, Du Tao's eyes were no longer as confident as before. When he looked at Wang Kai, his eyes were filled with fear. Du Tao, I admit that you're indeed a genius. You can actually create your own soul skill. If we weren't in the slaughterhouse, I would be willing to give you the status of a follower. However, it's a pity that this is the slaughterhouse. Only one of us can survive. Therefore, please die obediently and become a stepping stone on my path to becoming the champion. As he spoke, Wang Kai gathered his strength again. Blood-red energy enveloped his body. Chapter 3:11. Shura's heaven-splitting claw. Wang Kai frantically gathered the soul power, blood energy, and killing intent in his body and urged them to fuse together in a unique way. In the next moment, the terrifying projection of Emperor Shura appeared in front of Wang Kai once again. Following this, the projection of Emperor Shura in the air copied the movements of Wang Kai's hands. It stretched out its blood-red, ferocious-looking hand that was covered in spikes and immediately grabbed in Du Tao's direction. Following Emperor Shura's move, an incomparably huge, blood-red claw that contained a terrifying amount of blood energy appeared in front of Wang Kai once again. Following this, it shot towards Du Tao, leaving behind a whoosh-whoosh sound as it tore through the air in a thick, blood-red trail. Break for me. Looking at the terrifying claw that was coming towards him, Du Tao's expression darkened. Wang Kai's Shura's heaven-splitting claw had already locked onto Du Tao. He couldn't escape and could only stubbornly resist until the end. If he couldn't withstand this move, only death would await him. Inverse blood, soul, ignition technique. Du Tao revealed a determined look in his eyes. Following this, the blood in his body suddenly flowed in reverse, and a strange, twisted lump appeared on his body. It was very strange. Although these lumps looked very strange, Du Tao's aura and strength still rose once again. Following this, he poured all the soul power in his body into his claws. Azure Netherworld Ripping Claw. Du Tao's martial soul, the green void windbreaker eagle, appeared in front of him once again as a huge amount of soul force surged into his body. Its size and the amount of energy it contained were even more frightening than before. With a low roar, two sharp green claws broke through the holes in the eagle's body and met Wang Kai's Azura heaven-splitting claw head-on. Bang! Following a violent explosion, the two energy claws abruptly collided in midair. After activating the inverse blood-soul ignition technique, Du Tao's soul force and strength had increased by close to 50%. This time, his Azure Netherworld Ripping Claw finally defeated Wang Kai's blood-colored claw. Two somewhat dim green claw phantoms emerged from the explosion and shot out explosively towards Wang Kai. Is this your trump card? Du Tao, you're too weak. Looking at the green claws flying towards him, Wang Kai snorted coldly and revealed a contemptuous smile on his face. After clashing with Wang Kai's Shura's heaven-splitting claw, Du Tao's Azure Netherworld Ripping Claw's power was no longer a threat to Wang Kai. Therefore, Wang wasn't afraid at all. And he wasn't afraid at all. Boom! The green claws that contained wind energy exploded in front of Wang Kai, and violent wind energy poured out in torrents. Countless wind blades, tornadoes, and gales attacked Wang Kai's body. However, These attacks only hit Wang Kai's Shura scales and didn't cause any injuries to Wang Kai. His body flashed, and Wang Kai flew out of the explosion's range. Seeing Wang Kai's relaxed appearance, Du Tao's face turned serious. He said coldly, "How is this possible? How can you be unharmed under my azure netherworld ripping claw? Even if you weren't torn to pieces, you should have been so heavily injured that you couldn't move." Couldn't move? Torn to pieces? Sorry, I only felt something tickling me just now. Du Tao, if you want to break through my defense, you have to increase your attack power by more than 10 times. Seeing Du Tao's surprised look, Wang Kai smiled. If Emperor Shura's martial soul's defense could be broken so easily, then it would be the biggest joke in the world. Sharp-tongued brat, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you escaped my attack by luck. That was just a warm-up, and I didn't even use 70% of my strength. Take another move from me. Du Tao's cold and ferocious voice sounded in the Hell Slaughterhouse. Following that, his figure flashed, and he no longer used his self-created soul skill. Instead, he relied on his terrifying speed and attack power to attack Wang Kai. Come on, I'll be waiting. After Du Tao used the reverse blood soul ignition technique, his speed also increased by a lot. Even Wang Kai couldn't help but feel ashamed of his inferiority. When he arrived in front of Wang Kai, Du Tao waved his claws crazily and clawed at Wang Kai's heart. However, Wang Kai wasn't afraid at all and met the attack with his claws. Clang! A violent collision sound was heard. Wang Kai and Du Tao's sharp claws met in the air and let out a loud collision sound. The muscles on their arms were stretched to the tightest at this moment, and their bodies were pushed back a few steps because of the collision. Again, seeing that his attack didn't work, Du Tao's eyes revealed a trace of anger. Immediately, he urged his movement technique and attacked Wang Kai. However, Wang Kai didn't panic at all and countered Du Tao's moves as he fought. It was hard to tell who had the upper hand. Ding ding dang dang. In the blink of an eye, Du Tao had already attacked hundreds of times. Each claw was aimed at Wang Kai's vital points. However, every time he attacked, Wang Kai could counterattack at the perfect time, making his attack ineffective. As time passed, Du Tao was able to suppress Wang Kai in the beginning, but gradually, as the battle progressed, Wang Kai's Azura sovereign bloodline was constantly stimulated and activated. On the other hand, although the reverse blood soul ignition technique didn't cause Du Tao's mind to become chaotic, it was still consuming his life force at a crazy rate. As time passed, the effects of the reverse blood soul ignition technique on him became weaker and weaker. After exchanging dozens of moves with Du Tao was already suppressed by Wang Kai. His moves were full of flaws, but Wang Kai didn't rush to attack. Instead, he continued to consume Du Tao's physical strength. Finally, Du Tao couldn't support the consumption of the reverse blood soul ignition technique. The bloody light on his body receded, and his body fell to the ground because of weakness. Du Tao, you're a worthy opponent, but you've met me. Now please die in peace. Looking at Du Tao in the distance, Wang Kai's eyes flashed with a cold light, and then he gathered the power in his body. Shura Sky's splitting claw. A huge shadow of Shura appeared in front of Wang Kai, and then it clawed forward. Two blood-red claws with boundless power flew straight towards Du Tao in the distance. Winner takes all. However, to be able to die in the hands of an expert like you, Du Tao, have lived my life in vain. Looking at the bloody claws that were getting bigger and bigger in his field of vision, Du Tao didn't beg for mercy. He just slowly straightened his back, closed his eyes, and said coldly, "Bang!" The next moment, the bloody claws hit Du Tao's body and then exploded. A mass of blood-red energy shot out in all directions, blasting Du Tao's body into minced meat. Blood splattered everywhere, and Du Tao's life aura completely disappeared. Chapter 312. Countless pieces of flesh, feathers, blood, and organs slowly fell from the sky. Du Tao's body was also completely torn to pieces by Wang Kai's attack. He couldn't be more dead. He's dead. Du Tao is actually dead. The old king has left, and the new king has ascended. Wang Kai has already proven himself. However, I wonder if he or Quan Long, the #1 expert of the Infernal Slaughter Grounds, is stronger. It's hard to say. I hope we'll have a chance to watch such an exciting match. Looking at Du Tao's miserable death, the spectators at the side of the Hell Slaughterhouse felt their hearts palpitate. At the same time, their eyes were filled with astonishment as they discussed spiritedly. Their expressions when looking at Wang Kai had an additional hint of fear. Before the fight started, almost no one thought that Wang Kai could win. However, they were all deeply impressed by Wang Kai's abilities after seeing this result. You've killed a rank 85 Soul Doloa. You've received 27,000 origin points and 270 origin points. Additional reward for the City of Massacres mission. Congratulations on receiving an additional 243,000 origin points. You have 680,500 origin points. You need 500,000 origin points to level up. You consumed 500,000 origin points to advance to a rank 70 Soul Emperor. You have 180,500 origin points remaining. You've reached the peak of your current realm. Please fuse your 7th soul ring with one of your martial souls to become a soul sage. Following Du Tao's death, 4 system notifications sounded in Wang Kai's ears. Wang Kai revealed a faint smile on his face. Soul Sage, here I come. Before he became a Soul Sage, Wang Kai could only resist a weaker mid-tier soul, even if he used all 3 of his martial souls. However, after he became a Soul Emperor, he would awaken the strongest abilities of a Soul Master, his martial soul True Body and his tool Soul True Body. After unleashing his martial soul True Body, a Soul Master's abilities would increase by several times. When that happened, Wang Kai would even be able to fight back if his opponent was a weaker titled Doloa. Even if his opponent was a stronger titled Doloa, Wang Kai was confident that he could escape. It could be said that after becoming a Soul Sage, Wang Kai had finally obtained a relatively strong ability to protect himself on the Dolua continent. The winner is contestant number 1455. Let us congratulate him for successfully obtaining his 40th victory, and at the same time advancing to the 3rd place in the Slaughterhouse Infernal Arena. The referee raised Wang Kai's right hand and enthusiastically announced Wang Kai's result to the audience. Wang Kai nodded slightly and walked down from the soul dueling stage. He then sat down on a seat to rest. At this moment, the power of evolution gushed out of Wang Kai's body, strengthening all aspects of Wang Kai's body. Compared to the power of evolution before, the enhancement that Wang Kai received this time was undoubtedly stronger. However, compared to the enhancement that he would receive after becoming a Soul Sage, it was definitely much weaker. At the same time, after being cleansed by the power of purification, Wang Kai's soul power's liquefaction had reached 95%. As long as he became a Soul Sage, Wang Kai would definitely be able to complete the liquefaction of his soul power, and his fighting strength would reach a whole new level. After the power of evolution dissipated, Wang Kai couldn't wait to leave the Slaughterhouse Infernal Arena and return to the 3rd palace. When they saw Wang Kai walking over, the audience on both sides of the Slaughterhouse Infernal Arena made way for Wang Kai. No one dared to block Wang Kai's path. After a few minutes, Wang Kai returned to the palace and entered the small plane. He greeted Imo Shu and went to the planar furnace alone. Then he exchanged for 100,000-year soul ring. After gently crushing the 7-colored adaptive 100,000-year soul ring in his hand, Wang Kai took a deep breath and guided the power of adaptation to flow in his body. At the same time, he constructed the most perfect 7th soul ring. 2 hours later, the power of adaptation receded. At this moment, the power of evolution that was 10 times stronger than when Wang Kai became a rank 70 Soul Emperor surged out of Wang Kai's body. The majestic and scorching power of evolution continuously poured into Wang Kai's tendons and veins. It was like a scorching hot lava that flowed in Wang Kai's body. The intense pain caused Wang Kai to suck in a breath of cold air. Every time the power of evolution passed by, Wang Kai cells would absorb this power of evolution and continuously destroy and regenerate. If Wang Kai could look inside himself at this moment, he would be surprised to find that these cells that had been baptized by the power of evolution were actually crystal clear and emitting a mysterious luster. The activity of the cells, the power they could carry, and the potential for evolution had also increased crazily. They were completely different from before he became a soul sage. Not only that, but Wang Kai's muscles, skin, bones, organs, and blood were also constantly transforming under the power of evolution. After continuously absorbing the power of evolution, the hardness of Wang Kai's bones rapidly increased. They also revealed a golden color and were filled with a metallic luster. Regardless of whether it was the hardness, flexibility, or plasticity, they had all increased by several times. Under the baptism of the power of evolution, Wang Kai's muscles also became more powerful. They also faintly revealed a faint golden light. This made Wang Kai look very majestic, like a god that had descended to earth. At the same time, the power of Emperor Shura's bloodline in Wang Kai's body was also continuously awakening. Wang Kai's heart was constantly beating, and Emperor Shura's bloodline that contained an ancient and mysterious power surged out. This bloodline and Wang Kai's blood continuously fused under the power of evolution, causing Wang Kai's blood to turn from its original red color to a mixture of golden and red. The density of his blood also increased by several times. His blood was like mercury, and it endowed Wang Kai with boundless strength. In addition, the power of evolution and the power of Emperor Shura's bloodline were also constantly fusing with Wang Kai's internal organs, and the energy and essence inside were completely released. From the inside to the outside, Wang Kai's internal organs continued to become stronger, and their resistance to attacks was constantly increasing. As for Wang Kai's skin, after countless evolutions, Wang Kai's skin was already the best kind. However, this time, under the baptism of the power of evolution, a lot of dead skin fell off, and new skin that was white and moist inside revealed a faint golden and red glow. This made Wang Kai even more handsome, and his temperament also became more sacred and profound. He could instantly attract the love of countless girls. It wasn't just the dead skin. Under the tempering of the power of evolution, the impurities in Wang Kai's body were also expelled once again. During Wang Kai's growth, he didn't have the fasting pill like ancient soul masters. He often ate 10,000-year soul beasts, and a lot of impurities accumulated in his body. At this time, these impurities were all expelled by Wang Kai, so they wouldn't affect Wang Kai's future advancement and evolution. Suddenly, a layer of black, oily substance gushed out from Wang Kai's body, emitting a terrible stench. After the impurities were continuously expelled, Wang Kai's skin became fairer and clearer, and his temperament became more and more noble and holy. Chapter 3:13. If the transformation of Wang Kai's body was already extremely shocking, then the transformation of Wang Kai's soul power and tendons could definitely be said to be shocking and astonishing. As a soul master, regardless of whether it was a beast soul master who focused on his body or a tool soul master who focused on his martial soul, the foundation of their strength was still soul power. This was the same for Wang Kai. Therefore, even though 30% of the evolutionary power was used to strengthen his body, the remaining 70% was mostly used to increase Wang Kai's soul power. With the help of the evolutionary power, Wang Kai's tendons were greatly strengthened. A faint golden color appeared on the walls of his tendons, and the amount of soul power they could withstand was also becoming more and more boundless. With the impact of the evolutionary power, Wang Kai's tendons were also widened time and time again. The total amount of soul power they could contain was also becoming more and more boundless. Not only that, but many of Wang Kai's hidden and blocked branch meridians were also being broken and opened up one by one under the impact of this scorching evolutionary power. As these branch meridians were opened up, the potential of Wang Kai's body was also being developed even more perfectly. His body could also contain even more boundless soul power. Of course, it wasn't just his tendons and tendons that were changing. Wang Kai's soul power was also changing. After absorbing a huge amount of evolutionary power, the last bit of Wang Kai's soul power finally completed its liquefaction. The energy contained within it was greatly increased. At this point, Wang Kai's soul power had completely liquefied and become extremely pure. He had achieved something that many titled Deluo could only achieve. Furthermore, Wang Kai's soul power wasn't as simple as liquefaction. After his soul power was completely liquefied, the liquefied soul power in Wang Kai's body was also becoming denser and denser. In some places where soul power was denser, Wang Kai's liquefied soul power was actually slowly condensing and crystallizing. They formed sparkling, translucent, and extremely beautiful golden solids. This process was called the crystallization of soul power. Of course, some people also called it the solidification of soul power. Generally speaking, titled Deluo could rely on accumulation to crystallize their soul power. However, only a small number of talented titled Deluo could compress their liquefied soul power again and crystallize the liquefied soul power in their bodies. When that happened, every unit in their bodies would be able to contain more soul power. Not only that, but the crystallization of soul power was also an important step on the path to becoming a god. According to the ancient information in Xiao Guang's database, only soul masters who had completely crystallized their soul power could rely on their own strength to condense divinity. Furthermore, they could further condense their body and ignite their god fire. Generally speaking, the crystallization of soul power was something that only peak Deluo and above could do. Now that Wang Kai was able to start crystallizing his soul power as a soul sage, it was enough to show how dense his soul power was and how great his potential was. Apart from that, about 5% of the vigorous evolutionary power wasn't used to strengthen Wang Kai's body and soul power. Instead, it was fused into Wang Kai's sea of consciousness. It expanded Wang Kai's sea of consciousness and strengthened Wang Kai's spiritual power. 12 hours later. Ding! Congratulations on your first martial soul, Emperor Shura, fusing with your 7th soul ring. You have comprehended a soul skill, Shura's true body. Congratulations on successfully fusing with your 7th soul ring. You have become a rank 71 soul sage. The warm flow of evolutionary power gradually dissipated. At this moment, 2 system notifications sounded in Wang Kai's sea of consciousness. After 12 hours of baptism, Wang Kai had completed a perfect transformation from a soul emperor to a soul sage. His overall attributes had also undergone earth-shattering changes. He had made a qualitative leap compared to when he was a soul emperor. First, it was his physical attributes. After his promotion, Wang Kai had completely activated Shura's bloodline and condensed Emperor Shura's body. After Emperor Shura's body was activated, it had an effect similar to Wang Kai's Shura transformation. However, compared to Shura transformation, Emperor Shura's body was stronger and had a smaller price to pay. Furthermore, it was more controllable. When Emperor Shura's body wasn't activated, it could provide Wang Kai with a certain level of strength, defense, agility, and other attributes. It could also subtly improve Wang Kai's fighting instincts and battle awareness. Once it was activated, Wang Kai would transform into Shura and receive a massive boost to all his attributes. At the same time, he would unlock the fighting techniques of the Shura clan and become the most powerful killing god. After obtaining Emperor Shura's body and being strengthened by the power of evolution, Wang Kai's strength, defense, and speed had doubled. Not only that, but his endurance, willpower, flexibility, and other attributes had also increased significantly. Once he fully activated Emperor Shura's body, Wang Kai's attributes would be 3 times stronger than before. This was even without taking into account his martial soul true body. As for his soul power, Wang Kai's soul power had completely liquefied after he became a soul sage. Not only that, but he had also taken the first step of crystallizing his soul power. 8% of his soul power had been crystallized, and the density of his soul power had greatly increased. Furthermore, Wang Kai's total amount of soul power had also increased significantly. After successfully becoming a soul sage, Wang Kai's total amount of soul power had increased by 1.5 times compared to when he was a rank 70 soul emperor. It was now 2.5 times his original amount of soul power. It could be said that Wang Kai's soul power was now comparable to most high-tier soul Dalua. In fact, he could even surpass many high-tier soul Dalua whose talents and martial souls weren't strong enough. Of course, Wang Kai's total amount of soul power still couldn't compare to a title Dalua's, as it was also a huge transformation from a soul Dalua to a title Dalua. In fact, it was even much weaker than Dugabo, who was one of the weaker title Dalua. However, correspondingly, the purity of Wang Kai's soul power wasn't inferior to theirs. Coupled with Wang Kai's formidable martial soul, Wang Kai still had a chance of fighting against the weakest title Dalua. Even though he might not be able to defeat them, it wouldn't be a problem for him to escape safely. As his total amount and purity of soul power increased, the strength of Wang Kai's soul skills also increased. In the past, Wang Kai had many 100,000-year soul rings. However, because his total amount and purity of soul power weren't enough, Wang Kai could only unleash their lowest level of strength. But now, Wang Kai's soul power was enough to support Wang Kai to unleash the full strength of his 100,000-year soul rings. This was a huge improvement to Wang Kai's abilities. In the end, even though only a small portion of the power of evolution had been used to improve Wang Kai's spiritual power, Wang Kai's spiritual power still improved by quite a lot. After becoming a soul sage, Wang Kai's spiritual power had also successfully broken through to the stage where he could do 29 things at once. Furthermore, his spiritual power's liquefaction had also increased greatly, from 65% to 85%. It was only a matter of time before his spiritual power completely liquefied. Chapter 314. Liquefaction of spiritual power was also a very important checkpoint in a soul master's spiritual power cultivation. Once a soul master completed the liquefaction of spiritual power, their spiritual power would have a significant increase. With the increase in spiritual power, the soul master's control of soul skills would also rise to a higher level, causing their fighting strength to become even stronger. Above the liquefaction of spiritual power was the crystallization of spiritual power. The crystallization of spiritual power was also an important step on the path to godhood. Only by crystallizing spiritual power could one further condense their divine soul, ignite their divine fire, and break through from the quasi-god realm to the god official realm. In other words, on the Doloa continent, the path to godhood, without accepting an inheritance, was roughly like this. Exceptional Doloa, after crystallizing spiritual power, could condense divinity and advance to demigod. At the same time, demigod powerhouses could control divine power. Demigods, after condensing a body, could advance to quasi-god, false god. Quasi-gods, after crystallizing spiritual power, could condense their divine soul, ignite their divine fire, and advance to god official. God official, after possessing a godhead, could raise a god kingdom and advance to third-rank god. At this moment, Wang Kai heard a system notification sound again. Ding! Congratulations on completing the mission, Breakthrough to Soul Sage. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining mission rewards. God Martial Spear Extraction Opportunity X1. Soul Ring Cleansing Stone X10. Adaptive 100,000-Year Soul Ring X10. 100,000-Year Soul Ring Sublimation Stone X10. 300,000-Year Soul Ring Sublimation Stone X10. 300,000-Year Source Experience. 3,000 Source Credits. Small plane area plus 1,000 square meters. Soul Power Standard Concentration plus 2. System Advanced Intelligence Function. System Super Furnace Function. Ding! As you completed the mission a year earlier, you have obtained additional rewards. 500 000 source experience, 500 000 source credits. Following the system notification sound, the small plane was also undergoing a mysterious transformation. All kinds of mysterious and unfathomable runes containing great power were constantly appearing on the planar furnace in the center of the small plane, flickering and disappearing. Following the appearance of these runes, the small plane's volume was further expanded, and the energy extracted from the astral world was also increasing at every moment. At the same time, following the evolution of the planar furnace, the concentration of soul power in the small plane was also continuously increasing. From the initial 6 standard concentration, it quickly rose to 8 standard concentration. Not only that, but the area of the small plane was also expanding at a speed visible to the naked eye. From the original 700 square meters to 1,700 square meters, it had more than doubled in size. Apart from that, the height of the small plane sky had also increased, and its overall volume had greatly increased. Ding! You have obtained the main mission, Breakthrough to Soul Doloa. Do you accept and check the mission? It turned out that after receiving the mission reward, the system prompt sounded again in Wang Kai's mind. Of course I accept. Upon hearing the system's voice, Wang Kai nodded. Along with Wang Kai's thought, a transparent mission interface appeared in his mind. Mission name, Breakthrough to Soul. Mission description. After becoming a soul sage, you have unlocked the most powerful skill of the soul master cultivation system, Martial Soul True Body. Now, you have basically obtained the ability to protect yourself on the Doloa continent and can explore the Doloa continent alone. However, compared to your future enemies, your current strength is still insufficient. Only by continuously working hard and climbing to the peak of cultivation can you defeat all your enemies and complete the mission of Conqueror. Time limit 2 + 0. 5 years. As you completed the mission early, the extra time will be used as compensation. Failure punishment? None. If you are unable to complete the mission within the stipulated time, the system will not punish you. However, you will not be able to obtain the generous rewards of the mission, and your growth will be slowed down. At the same time, if you're unable to complete the mission in time, it means that you have fallen behind the growth of a normal conqueror. The difficulty of your future growth and completing the main mission will become even more difficult. Mission reward: God's Martial Soul Extraction Opportunity X1, Soul Ring Cleansing Stone X15, Adaptive 100,000 Year Soul, Ring Sublimation Stone X15, Origin EXP 150,000, Origin Credit Points, Small Plane Area plus 5,000 square meters, Soul Power Standard Concentration plus 5, Innate Secret Technique, Great Enslavement Technique, Innate Secret Technique, Great Doppelganger Technique, Small Plane Special Ability, Systems God Refining Pagoda Function. After reading the mission description, Wang Kai revealed a bright smile on his face. Yes, after 7 years of tireless cultivation and hard work, Wang Kai had finally obtained the basic ability to protect himself on the Doloa continent. Even if he were to face many titled Doloa, he now possessed the ability to escape safely. However, Wang Kai was also very clear in his heart that as a conqueror, his future enemies would be the world's child of destiny, Tang San, the son of God, the daughter of God, and even the incarnation of God. Although Wang Kai's strength was much stronger than ordinary soul masters, if he wanted to defeat existences related to God and the world, Wang Kai's current strength was still far from enough. He had to continue cultivating, fighting, and killing to increase his strength. Only then would he be able to contend against the world of God with a mortal body and finally achieve the great path of Conqueror. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the main mission series, Spreading Martial Arts Under the Heavens. Do you want to check it? After the first mission was displayed, the system's notification sounded in Wang Kai's mind again. Of course I want to check it. Although he was a little curious, when he broke through to Soul King previously, the system gave him an additional main mission of Massacre City. Therefore, Wang Kai was not too surprised by this new main mission. Following Wang Kai's thought, The original mission frame in his mind disappeared and was replaced by an even bigger mission frame. Mission 1 of the World Series. Obtain leadership of the Marshall Spear Hall. Mission description. As a conqueror, unifying the Doloa continent is your inevitable mission and also the only way to eliminate the world's malice. The Marshall Spear Hall is the largest power on the Doloa continent. Once you obtain the leadership, you can greatly help Master complete his mission of conquering the world. Time limit. None. Failure punishment. None. There is no failure punishment for this mission, but it must be noted that if the world's malice ratio is greater when Master fights with the Child of Destiny, the chances of Master losing will greatly increase. Mission reward. World's malice minus 12%. Source experience plus 120,000. Source credit plus 12,000. Small plane area plus 1,200 square meters. Small plane standard density plus 2. Mission 2 of the World Series. Conquer the Clear Sky Sect. Mission reward. World's malice minus 10%. Source experience plus 100,000. Source credit plus 10,000. Small plane area plus 1,000 square meters. Small plane standard density plus 2. Mission 3 of the World Series. Conquer the Star Luo Empire. Mission reward. World's malice minus 10%. Source experience plus 100,000. Source credit plus 10,000. Small plane area plus 1,000 square meters. Small plane standard density plus 2. Mission 4 of the World Series. Conquer the Heavendo Empire. Mission reward. World's malice minus 6%. Source experience plus 600,000. Source credit plus 6,000. Small plane area plus 600 square meters. Small plane standard density plus 1. Mission 5 of the World Series. Conquer the Blue Lightning Overlord Sect. Mission reward. World's malice minus 6%. Source experience plus 600,000. Source credit plus 6,000. Small plane area plus 600 square meters. Small plane standard density plus 1. Mission 6 of the World Series. Conquer the Seven Treasures Glaze Sect. Mission reward. World's malice minus 6%. Source experience plus 600,000. Source credit plus 6,000. Small plane area plus 600 square meters. Small plane standard density plus 1. Chapter 315. Spreading the martial arts across the world. It seems like this is my next goal. However, the Star Luo Empire and the other 4 powers all have titled Doa holding the fort. If I want to control the Martial Soul Hall, I have to defeat BB Dawn, who is a top-tier title Doa. With my current abilities, it's still a little difficult. I have to continue working hard and become a Soul Doloa as soon as possible. Only then can I perfectly contend with a title Doloa and be qualified to complete these missions. After reading the series of missions for the Spreading the Martial Soul Hall, Wang Kai nodded silently. There was a serious look on his face, and he was impatient to become stronger. Ding! Master has one chance to draw the god's martial soul. Will you draw it? At this moment, the system's notification sounded in Wang Kai's ears again. Draw! After hearing the system's notification, Wang Kai's eyes were burning with passion, and he muttered excitedly. Every time he obtained a god's martial soul, it could greatly increase Wang Kai's attributes in all aspects. It could also provide Wang Kai with a large number of soul skills, allowing his fighting strength to reach a new level. This was also one of the important opportunities for Wang Kai to become stronger. How could he not be excited? After reading the series of missions for the Spreading the Martial Soul Hall, Wang Kai deeply felt his lack of fighting strength. If he wanted to start the Spreading the Martial Soul Hall, Wang Kai had to at least be as strong as a peak Doloa. Therefore, Wang Kai cherished every opportunity to become stronger. Order received. Begin to draw a god's martial soul. As Wang Kai muttered, the system's notification sounded again. Following this, the mission panel in Wang Kai's mind disappeared. What replaced it was a familiar, exquisite, and mysterious, huge golden wheel. On every grid of the wheel, there was an extremely precious and powerful god's martial soul. No matter which one was born, it could create a peerless genius who could suppress the Doloa continent. Under Wang Kai's gaze, the beautiful needle on the golden wheel started to spin rapidly. As he looked at the spinning needle, Wang Kai prayed silently in his heart. He was very expectant, but also a little nervous. Although they were all gods' martial souls, there were differences between them. Some gods' martial souls were very powerful, while others were ordinary. Naturally, Wang Kai still hoped to obtain a powerful god's martial soul. After a moment, on the golden wheel, the needle in the middle started to slow down. Finally, it stopped in front of a huge dragon-shaped martial soul under Wang Kai's gaze. This was a huge grayish-black dragon that coiled in the black void. It was boundless, and it was impossible to see how huge its body was. Its body exuded a terrifying aura that was extremely deep, as if it could devour everything in the universe. So powerful. This was Wang Kai's first impression of this dragon-shaped martial soul. Ding! Lottery complete. You have obtained a god-ranked martial soul, eternal and devouring dragon. Do you want to bind it? Just as Wang Kai was observing this majestic dragon-shaped martial soul that seemed to be able to devour everything, the system's notification sounded in Wang Kai's mind again, pulling him back to reality from his shock. Of course I want to bind it. With a look of joy on his face, Wang Kai impatiently chanted in his heart. Following Wang Kai's thoughts, the domineering, eternal, and devouring dragon flew out from the grid on the wheel and immediately flew towards Wang Kai's chest. At the same time, the mysterious golden wheel that was filled with the god's martial soul also disappeared under Wang Kai's burning gaze. In almost the blink of an eye, the eternal and devouring dragon had already rushed in front of Wang Kai. As it got closer and closer to Wang Kai, its body became smaller and smaller. Finally, with a dragon's roar, it merged into Wang Kai's body. Immediately, Wang Kai felt an extremely hot stream of energy bursting out from his chest. It began to rapidly transform Wang Kai's body. Although this energy was slightly weaker than the energy that Wang Kai had when he became a soul sage, it was still an extremely terrifying energy. Under this energy, Wang Kai's body underwent all sorts of inconceivable transformations. All of his cells, tissues, and veins were being reborn and reformed, and he was becoming stronger and stronger. 6 hours later, ding! Congratulations on successfully fusing with your fourth god's martial soul, eternal and devouring dragon. The mysterious stream of energy in his body gradually disappeared, and the system's notification sounded again. At this moment, Wang Kai also sensed his body. Because Wang Kai had undergone the cleansing of his body when he became a soul sage, his body was almost completely devoid of impurities. This was why Wang Kai's body didn't expel any impurities this time. However, his entire body had evolved and transformed under this stream of energy, and a thick layer of dead skin had appeared on his skin. With a slight push, the dead skin on Wang Kai's body was shattered into tiny pieces and fell to the ground, revealing his skin that glowed faintly with golden light. With a slight push, Wang Kai could feel the majestic energy in his body. After fusing with the eternal and devouring dragon, Wang Kai's physical attributes had improved greatly. His strength and defense had increased by 30%, and his speed had increased by 20%. After becoming a soul sage, Wang Kai's physical attributes had improved by a lot. The fact that this new martial soul could still provide such a powerful boost to Wang Kai was enough to show how powerful it was. Apart from a strengthening of his body, Wang Kai's soul power and spiritual power had also been strengthened to a certain extent. After fusing with this new martial soul, Wang Kai's soul power had become more crystallized, from 8% to 13%. It was an increase of 5%, and the purity of Wang Kai's soul power had increased greatly. Apart from that, Wang Kai's total soul power had also increased by close to 20%. Although Wang Kai's soul power was still far from that of a tidal daw, he was still a lot closer to them. As for his spiritual power, Wang Kai's spiritual power hadn't improved by much. It had only increased from 29% to 30%. At the same time, His spiritual power had been liquefied to 94%. He was only half a step away from completely liquefying his spiritual power. This is great. I become even stronger now. Furthermore, I can continue to fuse with soul rings and upgrade them. This trip to the City of Massacres was indeed worth it. After sensing that he had become even stronger, Wang Kai revealed a satisfied smile on his face. Ding! Your personal information has been updated. Do you want to check it? At this moment, the system's notification sounded again. Chapter 316. Let's check it out. After becoming a soul sage, Wang Kai's attributes had undergone a tremendous change. Therefore, Wang Kai wanted to see how powerful he was after becoming a soul sage. Name: Wang Kai. Strength: Level 71 Soul Sage. Soul Power Crystallization: 13%. Spiritual Power: Multitasking Upgrade Progress: 10%. Spiritual Power Crystallization: 94%. Path: Conqueror World Suppression: 39%. System Reduction: 39%. Experience Points: 63050075000. Origin Experience Points: 7,400 points, 7,005 Origin Points. System Skills: Appraisal I, True Alchemy Insight, True Array Dao Insight. System Permissions: Small Plane Permissions, Special Store Permissions, System Advanced Intelligence Permissions, Super Furnace Permissions, Exclusive Plane, Area, 1,700 cubic meters, Soul Power Concentration. 5+3, Standard Concentration, Constitution, Unlimited Martial Soul Physique, Yin-Yang Body, Emperor Shura's Body, Martial Soul. Emperor Shura, Chaotic Mountain and River Cauldron, Divine Eye of Creation, Eternal and Creation Dragon, Martial Soul 1. Emperor Shura, God Tier. Martial Soul 1 Soul Skills. Shura's Blood Claw, January 2000. Shura's Sky Splitting Strike, 15,000. Shura's God-Slaying Spear, 100,000 years. Special Skills: Battle Spear, God Slayer. Shura's Monarch Armor, 100,000 years. Special Skills: Hero's Entrance. Shura's Instant Hell Shadow Spike, June 2000. Shura's Demonic Flame, 65,000 years. Shura's True Body, 100,000 years. Martial Soul 2, Chaotic Mountain and River Cauldron, God Tier. Martial Soul 2 Soul Skills: Xianhuang Protection plus Xianhuang Qi, 100,000 years. Gravity Domain, 300,000 years. Mountain and River Annihilation plus Earth Strength, 100,000 years. Chaotic Mountain and River Cauldron plus 3,000 Heaven Burning Flames, 100,000 years. Illusory Destruction plus 4 Pillars of Time, 100,000 years. Mountain and River Trap Formation plus Mountain and River Killing Formation, 100,000 years. Martial Soul 3, Divine Eyes of Creation, Divine Rank. Martial Soul 3 Soul Skills: 5 Elements Power, 100,000 years. Fusion Power, 100,000 years. Spatial Power, 200,000 years. Destructive Power, 300,000 years. Life Power, 200,000 years. Time Power, 200,000 years. Martial Soul 4, Eternal and Devouring Dragon, God Rank. Martial Soul 4. Description: The Dragon of Eternity and Devouring, a mythical creature inherited from the beginning of the universe. It has experienced countless tribulations and is eternally indestructible. It has the terrifying ability to devour all worlds and clean up the universe. Once converted into an ability, the eternal and devouring dragon martial soul will bestow the host with the greatest devouring power. When a martial soul is cultivated to a high level, it can devour the sun, moon, and stars in a single gulp. 4 Martial Soul Soul Skill: None, Soul Bones. Black Rock Emperor Snake Right Arm Bone, 60,000 years, provided skill. Black Rock Bind. Skull of Wisdom Gathering Spirit, 60,000 years, provided skill. Spiritual Shock. Void Thunder Dragon Right Leg Bone, 700,000 years, provided skill. Void Annihilation Thunder. Wind Chaser Left Leg Bone, 30,000 years, provided skill. Haste Items. Spatial Ring, Volume, 20 cubic meters. Soul Ring Cleansing Stone X30, 100,000 year Adaptive Soul Ring X10, 100,000. Year Soul Ring Sublimation Stone X10. Skills. Boundless Blood Spear Technique. 64 forms, complete. Sure as Heaven Splitting Claw, complete. Divine Wander Steps, complete. Mysterious Star Heavenly Suppression Soul, Refining Divine Technique. Level 8. Fatal 7 Kills Sword. 49 forms, complete. Looking at his own attributes, Wang Kai nodded silently. Due to his continuous hard work, his strength had become stronger and stronger. Furthermore, Wang Kai still had many tools with him that were adaptive soul rings and soul ring sublimation stones. Once he used them, Wang Kai's strength would become even stronger. Ding! You have activated the system's super furnace. Do you want to place the super furnace immediately? Just as Wang Kai nodded in satisfaction, the system's prompt sounded in Wang Kai's sea of consciousness again. Super furnace? Place it. Listening to the system's prompt, Wang Kai also nodded. Host, please choose a location to place the super furnace in the small plane. At this moment, the system's prompt sounded again. Here it is. With a thought, Wang Kai chose a location close to the plane furnace, then reached out and pointed. Yes. Start placing the super furnace. Along with the system's prompt, countless mysterious forces began to condense into a blast furnace-shaped building. There were various strange runes on it, and it began to materialize. System, what are the functions of the super furnace? Seeing that the super furnace had begun to build, Wang Kai also had a thought and asked the system, Master, the super furnace has the following functions. Please take a look. The system's prompt sounded, and at the same time, an explanation box appeared in Wang Kai's sea of consciousness. I see. The functions of this super furnace are really heaven-defying. After carefully reading the functions of the super furnace, Wang Kai's face revealed a hint of joy. As a new function that the system had unlocked when it became a soul sage, the power of the super furnace was self-evident. Its functions could be summed up into two: refining and refining. The first function of the super furnace was refining. As the name implied, it refined everything that was thrown into the super furnace and turned it into pure experience, which could be used to supplement Wang Kai. After killing an enemy, the system could extract a certain amount of experience, but a part of the energy was still stored in the enemy's flesh and blood, which could not be extracted and used. Now that he had the super furnace, Wang Kai could smelt the enemy's flesh and blood, extract the energy from it, and turn it into experience, allowing him to advance faster. Apart from this, the super furnace could also be used to refine natural treasures. Wang Kai had obtained a large amount of natural treasure from the ice fire yin-yang well, but if he consumed them at the same time, their medicinal properties would clash, and it would be harmful to his body. Now that he had the super furnace, he could directly extract the energy from these natural treasures without worrying about their medicinal properties clashing. Of course, the super furnace required a certain amount of time to refine. Furthermore, the higher the grade of the item, the more time it would take. However, as Wang Kai's strength and the attributes of his small plane increased, the super furnace's refining ability would also become stronger. Furthermore, the super furnace's refining function was free to use. The second function of a super furnace was refining. It required specific materials to be placed into the super furnace, and the corresponding formulas would be set. The super furnace would automatically refine pills, soul tools, formation arrays, and other items. However, it was different from the refining function. If one wanted to use the super furnace's refining function, a certain amount of origin points had to be expended. The higher the grade of the item, the more origin points had to be invested. However, the super furnace's refining success rate was 100%. Hence, it was worth it even though it required origin points. Ding! The super furnace has been placed. At this moment, the system's notification sounded again. Wang Kai turned his head and looked at the super furnace that had just been created.